Might have taught the government to go about things in the wrong way as far as creating context.
You
Uh,
are. At least I think so. We got AWOL lurking in chat, as always. Hello, hello. No, just wait for everyone else to come around.
I'm gonna get the stream up.
That is
yeah.
allowed.
No, it's not.
It's not allowed. Don't do it, or I'll cut you.
Are we on?
Yes.
Is this thing on?
Is this hello? Hello.
Hello.
Somebody answer me.
There we go.
It's funny.
Hello, we are alive.
It's been
All
so
right.
long since I actually played any Metal Gear games properly. And I always, from all of them, I just remember bits and bobs. Like, if you talk about Metal Gear Solid Fear 2, 4, holy, this is gonna be good, guys. Today, my brain is not.
Sons
here.
of Liberty.
Yeah, I mean 2. I don't know where fear came from, but when I think about that, fear. First thing that comes to mind is just the thing where you have to walk under someone's pee. That's the first thing I think about that game for some reason, because that's funny. Yeah, for some reason that's the first thing that comes to mind. Not even the thing where they, cuck you out and it's like, look, you're playing a snake, and then actually, no.
Yeah.
I always liked 2 though. It's also a really fun game.
Yeah, it's like I was going into this like with the perspective that I'm not going to be playing as Solid Snake throughout the entire thing. It's like I can actually look at this from the fresh eyes of someone who has played it when it came out in 2001. So
yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty much just going to do my utmost to, see why Raiden wasn't met with positive reactions at first. Also the fact that like I also got something else going on. Like I got another idea going for this analysis. I'm gonna get Quentin Flynn again to reprise his role as Raiden this time. Have him play more of a role.
Mm-hmm.
Quentin Flynn being the voice actor who portrays Raiden in Metal Gear Solid 2 and Rising. I'm pretty sure, he's in Revengeance as well, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
And 4, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm forgetting that Raiden's in a bunch of games.
Mm-hmm. And they were going to have an in-between story with Raiden between MGS2 and 4, Metal Gear Solid Rising.
Yeah, that's what they did to that eventually became Revengeance, but it was initially a Konami, like Kojima Productions game, and then not being done by Kojima though. Like it was another guy, and apparently it wasn't really going so well development wise, so they just like hired Platinum to kind of finish the game, and they decided to make it a sequel instead.
Yeah. And yeah, that was my stepping stone into the series. And
Revengeance?
from there I just that was my stepping stone.
That's
like
fine.
I mean, I guess like it's it's enough of a different one, I suppose, that like if you're maybe not into stealth action games, that could be a game that you just pick up and play and are like, oh, this is an interesting world. It's pretty wacky.
Yeah, and I wanted to learn more about it. I knew what I was getting into, like going into Metal Gear Solid 3 after that.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I just started with 1 because I'm old.
Well, I'm assuming you mean Metal Gear Solid, though, right? Not Metal Gear.
No, not Metal Gear. I never play that. No. Metal Gear Solid. Yeah. Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, yeah, Metal Gear Solid. What a fun franchise that is. It's just so crazy. Just get reminded of it when you play the third one. It's like, this is, oh wow, look, Cold War, that's kind of fun. Also, this guy shoots bees out of his hands. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is how I summarize this game. Most of us like, yeah, it's like Cold War, and it's like nuclear devastation that could happen. Also, there's a guy that's a ghost, and people that shoot bees at you. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
It's one of the best examples of that hyper-realism that I've ever seen in a game, where you mix like, grounded historical elements with this sort of fantastic comic booky kind of stuff where you have like a guy who uses electricity and
Yeah.
bees and shit.
Vulcan.
That cutscene makes me laugh where that introduces the Cobra unit. Like, because if you don't understand it as sort of like the scene that introduces all the villains and bosses, you might watch that cutscene going, "What the fuck is going on?" There's like a guy with bees, and all of a sudden there's a ghost, and there's an electricity guy.
I mean, the funny thing
like,
is that
what?
I guess the funny thing is that because you know the boss already, and she just beats you in like basically hand-to-hand combat, like pretty normal, and then some guy comes around with bees. It's like, wait,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
So that guy's gonna be the last boss, right? No, it's the lady with the CQC. It's like, okay.
And then,
Yeah.
and then the spider guy like descends through the bees to pick up Sokolov.
Yeah, he's just like flying around. Like, well, how's he doing that?
Yeah, it's
To this day, I still don't quite understand if the fear was being carried by the bees or if like he had some kind of, I don't know, like web that he was descending down. Because the fear doesn't. I mean, I guess
Oh,
he kind
yeah.
of hangs underneath branches sometimes in the fight, but I guess we'll
Yeah.
get
I
there.
mean, the
but-
fear also runs over
literally
water that
thinking the
one
same
time,
thing.
and it never happens again, and is never brought up again. It's like, did he just run on water? Hang on, why? How? It's like, no, he
Yeah.
just did that. That just happened. It's not even the thing
Yeah.
that happens in this boss fight. Like, there's no water. So it's just like, yeah, I
Nope.
can do that. Fuck off.
I see that's just the thing I can do.
Yeah.
But I mean, I
And-
think that like it's the one thing that I've always it's almost like a caveat to recommending the Metal Gear series to people because especially 3. 3 is probably the one where this contrast is the most severe because it's set around a lot of real historical events that have happened as opposed to Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 despite having I guess Metal Gear Solid 1 more so, but a degree of being grounded, they're still sort of in the future from the time they were made.
Mm.
Whereas Metal Gear Solid 3, the contrast between grounded like Cold War spy stuff and like to use Theo's term anime bullshit is like pretty severe. And I think that that's the kind of thing that if you're going in expecting just like a straight up spy thriller that doesn't have those sort
Yeah.
of more bizarre fantasy elements to it, you might be a little bit thrown off. But I guess that like especially if you'd played Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 by the time 3 came out, you're just on board for that
Oh, yeah,
kind
you
of
know
stuff
what's coming.
happening.
Yeah.
But I think that's also the thing that makes with their like remake strategy, Metal Gear Solid 3 probably a strange one to use to like introduce new players to because
It's true.
I have a feeling a lot of them will get through the virtuous mission and then get to the end and be like, wait, what the fuck?
I've played that game 5 times. I'm still going, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god.
See, what's really funny is that my first time playing it was on the 3DS version.
Oh.
Yeah,
wow.
like, and even
Hey, that's
sometime after
that's
that.
the only one prior to Delta where you can crouch walk. That is the
Oh,
one
yeah,
thing gameplay wise the
that
3DS one
really?
had on all the other versions.
That's
Yeah.
funny. I didn't know
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, you can crouch walk in the 3DS version, and just having to play the HD version like sometime after that is like it felt like a bit of a culture shock for me. Like, what the fuck? I can't crouch walk?
that.
Like, I mean, you had like crouch walking in that version, and even Metal Gear Solid V. Like, what the fuck? Why can't I fucking crouch walk? It's supposed to be normal for me to do stealth, right? Can I just do that too? No, I'm fine with crawling, even though like except for when you're crawling into grass and you jump into the first person. It felt a little bit off for me. Yeah, it just
Did you at least have the hardware expansion for the second stick, or were you just
well,
because
I
there's a peripheral for that,
The
right? You
circle
could,
pad.
it
yeah,
gave you
circle
essentially
pad.
a second analog stick.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's
Yeah, that game and Resident Evil Revelations are like almost unplayable without that second analog expansion thing.
yeah. Like I didn't care if I was experiencing the story through 540p quality video. Like I just wanted to see what it was all about, and yeah, I was hooked.
Mhm.
Nice.
Cool.
I mean, it's the
Yep.
earliest in the timeline, at least. So
Yeah,
maybe
like
that's why
really,
they went that way.
I would
Mhm.
I'd say yeah, like make MGS3 your first title. Like it's literally the beginning of the timeline, and like it's a pretty I'm gonna put basic in quotes here. Like it's a very basic story to follow through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very easy to understand like who these characters are, what their motivations are, and yeah, the revelations that come up like as they progress onward.
It took me a while to come around to Metal Gear Solid. I'd always watched it being played by friends and catching glimpses of it, and I always thought it was interesting, but stealth was never really my thing. But then I started playing Splinter Cell, and then I really started
Ah.
appreciating stealth games, and then I
I played
retroactively
myself.
appreciated Metal Gear after that.
Uh,
Yeah, like really just before even playing the games myself, I've only seen it parodied a bunch of times. That was it. That was my
Yeah.
basic knowledge up
I
to
mean,
that point.
I guess I had sort of the opposite type of experience because for me, like I was like a guy who played on PlayStation a lot in like the mid '90s, and I think yeah, it was just before starting high school, I believe the Metal Gear Solid came out, and I remember that being the first midnight launch that I ever went to. That like I because it was on a school night too, and I think I'd done well enough in school that my parents were like cool with me just taking the next day off, like kind of a
hmm.
call in sick type thing as like my reward for getting good grades.
Yeah.
And I played the living hell out of Metal Gear Solid when it first came out, and it sort of blew my mind, if for no other reason than it was less so the cinematic elements of it, because there were other games that had sort of heavy story elements, and more just the voice acting and everything was so good that
Uh,
like it almost it felt like playing through a movie. And I know like movie game has kind of become a meme since then, but
movie game.
when Metal
Yeah.
Gear Solid came out, it was sort of unlike almost anything that I'd ever played before, and I was pretty enthralled by it, and probably played it like 500 times, and that made like the wait for Metal Gear Solid 2 this big. Like, oh my god, like I can't wait till this comes out. It's gonna be like the craziest game ever. Which those expectations made the like switch to playing as Raiden in Metal Gear Solid 2 be extremely jarring because you're like, wait, hold on, like I'm playing as this guy. And then I kept on thinking that, especially once Pliskin shows up in Metal Gear Solid 2, that we're gonna play as Snake again. And then the game ends, and I was like, oh, like I guess we're never playing as Snake again in this thing. And the thing that made Metal Gear Solid 3 jarring in that regard is I couldn't wait to see what happened with like Solid Snake and the Patriots and him jumping after the Metal Gear Ray and what went on with like Liquid Ocelot. And then the first trailers for Metal Gear Solid 3 came out and it was like, oh, this one takes place in the 60s. And I'm like, wait, hold on. So we're never gonna get to know what happens after the end of Metal Gear Solid 2. And
Oh,
yeah, so I think that like the first time I played this game, I was like not super pumped on it. Like I was just like, oh, like I don't know that I want to be playing a prequel. And then like subsequent playthroughs and like having gone through the game a bunch of times now, it sort of over time became my favorite one in the series. So,
mm,
it's sometimes the bold narrative decisions do pay off if they end up doing a good job, but it's not
Yeah.
always the case. But I think it did happen with Metal Gear Solid 3.
yeah. As far as the franchise goes with me, like my personal trifecta, like each of these games are very smart with writing the story and characters and the themes that they're conveying. But like each one, like they have one aspect that stands out the most. And for me, it's Metal Gear Solid 3 with its story, MGS2 with its themes, and MGS-V with its gameplay.
Yeah.
I think you're the only person I've ever heard that calls it Metal Gear Solid V, because
Yeah.
I just say Metal Gear Solid 5, and I think like
Eh,
everyone else does too. But
yeah, it's well, yeah, it has the Roman numeral 5, but
mhm.
Kojima did say before on Twitter that it's MGS-V, not MGS-5. And
Yeah.
there was a reason for that. You're playing as your avatar as Big Boss. Big Boss is Phantom.
I read an interesting theory that like has a surprising amount of supporting. I know we're not analyzing Metal Gear Solid. I'm still going to say 5 because just that it's hardwired at this point. But Metal Gear Solid 5 is that it's Gray Fox, and that there's
Yeah.
actually like a lot of supporting evidence to suggest that like everything that happens with Venom, like, or V or whatever you want to call him, in Metal Gear Solid 5 can be sort of looked at as things they did to Gray Fox or to Frank Yager, basically, as experiments to see what they could do with like social conditioning and virtual training and hypnotic suggestion and making people
Right.
think that you're someone that you're not. And then the stuff like V's eye having that sort of white, like a sort of pale look to it that is the exact same thing that Gray Fox has in like the games that he's in. And like I off the hand, I don't have like all the evidence just like ready to go, but I remember watching this video and being like actually pretty impressed with it. I was like, oh, there's actually kind of a lot here.
Yeah.
I think it's deliberately both, right? I mean, it is Metal Gear Solid 5. I mean, if we have 2, 3, 4,
Right.
and then 5. But I mean, it doesn't surprise me that Kojima would play around with the Roman numerals thing. And I do remember something in some of the promotional material where it's like V is go or something like that. Somebody
V has
says
come
that.
to.
V has come
Yep.
to. Yeah.
Never finished
And
that one.
in the truth records for 5, Big Boss did say himself that the Avatar character that you're playing, that he was always the best soldier that we got, like the best man for the job. And that could play into the whole Gray Fox theory as well, that it could be Frank. I don't know.
But
I got nothing on that. I have no clue.
Yeah, I mean, like I said,
But-
like even
but
bringing
I
it
also
up,
never
like, I
finished
didn't
Metal
really...
Gear Solid 5, so I have no clue.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh,
No.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, finishing Metal Gear Solid 5, like to get the true ending and stuff, it takes a lot of time.
Well, I thought I was done, and then the game was like, actually, you're halfway through. And it's like, I've been playing for 50 hours. What do you mean?
Well, and I think the thing that makes that more jarring and more difficult is once you get to the ending of the game, or like what is the functional ending of the game, to get to the actual ending where you see the truth, I think is what they refer to it as. It doesn't just require playing through more. It's you actually do have to like do a lot of more busy work and kind of like replay a lot of the side missions and get a lot of things together in your playthrough that might not seem like they're things you should be having to do to experience story in a narrative based game. Like you got to engage with a lot of side content to actually see the real ending. And I can understand that many people who played Metal Gear Solid 5, even if they enjoyed it, maybe didn't go through all that work. And that's not in the same way that like Mark Brown didn't finish Doom. Like because like I know Metal was on the eval, but he was like, I love Doom 2016, but I never completed it. I was like, it's like a 5-hour game, man. Like, what do you mean you loved it, but you didn't finish it? Now it's longer than 5 hours. 5 hours.
Finish the story.
I think like it's safe to say that if you put 2 5-hour sittings into Doom 2016, you'd finish that game. It's not that long.
It's relatively short, yeah.
Whereas Metal Gear Solid 5, you are maybe looking at 100 hours of gameplay if you want to actually like see the real ending. So it's a bit more understandable that some people didn't, even if they did really enjoy the game.
Someone chat just said I unlocked the true ending by searching it on YouTube.
I mean, yeah, and actually funny that you mentioned that, because YouTube is the only place that you can see the unfinished chapter that actually does sort of tie up the Liquid Snake Psychomantis storyline, because that's not in the game. Like the only place you can see it is on YouTube.
Yeah,
I never finished 5 either. There's like because it's split up into 2 big chapters, basically, right? That's how I understand the structure of it. And I finished the first chapter, and it's a shame because I think I just got distracted or whatever, because I really enjoyed the gameplay in that game. That's in terms of gameplay, that is my favorite. The open world setting I thought really worked.
You can do fun
well,
stuff
and
with
your
that,
flexibility too. Like just the amount of options you have in that game is pretty incredible. Like there's there's a lot of ways that you can approach every situation in Metal Gear Solid 5, and they brought a few of the Metal Gear Solid 5 gameplay systems into Delta, but I think they maybe
very
could have
little.
gone a little farther with some of them. But I guess Delta we'll be talking about next week, so
Yeah.
don't want to talk about that too much now. We're mostly going to focus on the original. But I guess, yeah, Metal, like, how do you want to do this? Should we like kind of go through the story kind of the way we would like a movie episode, or
Honestly, I just took very little notes. I just have like broad topics, and then we can just yap on about them, I think.
okay?
I mean,
fair
if we would have wanted to do one like a proper movie thing, I would have needed like 2 or 3 weeks to prepare. I'll be honest, to go through
yeah,
the
I
game
mean,
multiple times.
yeah, I guess
get all
that's
this
fair
stuff.
too.
But I think there's enough
think,
to talk about with. Anyway, that's not a problem.
I think there's a lot of depth and nuance to all the aspects of the plot, but the plot itself is actually quite simple and straightforward. There's not really a lot to it in terms of like getting from A to B to C, you know.
Yeah, I'd say that it's actually probably the simplest of Metal Gear Solid storylines, at least. Where
Yeah, it's a very and you know it's all based around the mission, right? Which is a very simple sort of extract and destroy. That's basically all it is on one level.
Yeah, I mean,
the complexity sort of comes with the political situation around the mission itself. It's not inside of the mission.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're basically just going around. It's like, your mission is to get Sokolov. Like, all right, I'll do that. And then all the crazy shit happens. It's like, there's the Cobra unit, and the boss has betrayed the US, or has she? You go around, it's like, oh, Snake Eater, because I beat up the Cobra unit. It's like, yep, that's that. And of course, there's like lots of tiny details everywhere. I mean, there's probably hours of codec conversations you can just get by just calling everyone after every item you pick up. I mean, you can call Seguin, you can call Paramedic, Major Zero. At some point, you can call Eva, and you can save, which also gives you more fun lines because Paramedic talks about like random movies from the 60s.
Movies, yeah. You can get some good recommendations from the Paramedic post-save movie recommendations.
She also complains about nitpicking, so she wouldn't like EFAP, I think, or us.
My favorite one though is absolutely when she asks him if he's seen From Russia with Love, and then he mentions that he doesn't really like James Bond movies, and Zero pops on the line. He's like, "What do you mean you don't like James Bond?" The British guy's actually like pissed off.
Yeah.
See, what's really funny is that, you know, Naked Snake just says that the James Bond series are pure fantasy. I mean, when you look at all the crazy shit around you, like during your mission, like, would you classify that as pure fantasy?
Well, I think it's an interesting sort of meta joke about just internal rules and consistency, because to Snake, or like to Big Boss, like John, Naked Snake, like Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake, he's just like, he's like the gadgets that he has. Like, I mean, who needs like a gun that's inside a fountain pen or something like that? It's like, none of that stuff's ever going to help me on like a mission like this.
Yeah.
And then Zero's just like, yeah, but what about seducing the ladies? I mean, what about Eva? Like, anything going on with you and her? She seems pretty hot.
I wonder if there might not be, if there's like a little codec conversation between Major Zero when you pick up. I should have actually tried that. When you get the cigars or the cigarettes that have the
the knockout cigarettes.
Cigarettes, and it's like, oh, that's a nice gadget you have there, Snake. Pretty useful, huh?
Yeah. Very James Bond.
Yeah.
One actually that
really
I found
the end,
in,
by the way.
One that I found in the recent playthrough, and it actually is in Delta as well, because I tried it just to double check. When you're in the first sort of base area past like where you fight the Ocelot unit for the first time and everything, and there's the Hind helicopter. If you call Sigint, in that conversation, the name of the Hind helicopter is coined by them in that conversation.
Oh, okay.
Because they say that, like, yeah, no, because apparently they compare it to something it was referred to as the hip. And he's like, yeah, but it's a bit smaller than that. So I don't know, like what's like slightly smaller than the hips? I guess the hind. It's like, okay, so yes, we'll call this helicopter the Hind.
That's funny.
And it's neat that just even when you see things in the environment, if you call SIGINT and they have things recorded to like give you a bit of not necessarily historical information on it, but just a bit of explanation as to what it is, and then sometimes tying it into things in the Metal Gear Solid world. Because also, I mean, the Hind helicopter is significant in Metal Gear Solid in particular because it's the first big boss fight you have against Liquid Snake, where he's flying the Hind D helicopter
in
Metal Gear Solid 1. So
that's fun. Yeah, there's tons of stuff like this.
I never had a problem with the dialogue going on and on. Like I've heard some people critique it for that, or Kojima in general with his long-winded dialogue, and I think he does need an editor in a bunch of cases, but it never really bothered me. Like especially in this game with all the codec conversations, I actually quite enjoyed sitting with all that dialogue and just sort of getting lost with the characters, and because I think it's it goes on and on, but it's all pretty well written for the most part. I mean, there is some cringe exposition in this sometimes.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
But like, I was always it was never bad enough for me to be like, oh, I can't play this or I can't listen to this or anything like that. It's like I was always willing to go along with it, and I enjoyed pretty much all the dialogue.
At least the first time around. But the good thing is they just let you skip it because
that's right. Yeah.
I assume they realized, oh, this game has replayability. People probably want to just skip the dialogue that has all the things they already know, so you can just hold down triangle or whatever the button is, and just zips right through.
The one thing I don't like in the original that they did fix in Delta is for radio conversations in particular. If you skip the dialogue, you can continue and stop it and keep reading it if you want, but there's no way to have the voice acting continue. And in Delta, you can skip line by line or fast forward, so you're not just stuck with fast forwarding, which then turns off the voice acting and makes it so that if you want to then continue the dialogue, you have to then just read it and miss what I think is one of the things that makes most of the Metal Gear games more palatable to sit through big long codec conversations. Is in general the voice acting is very strong, like even in English, it's which was especially like for quite some time was not necessarily the case with Japanese developed games that were then translated into English. And I mean, even Metal Gear, the original Metal Gear, has one of the most famous bad translations of anything ever, where if you get into the back of a truck in like the NES Metal Gear game and it starts moving, it says the truck have started to move. Like, something as basic as like saying have instead of has. It's like, wow, you guys, no one looked over this, eh? Like you got a Japanese guy who kind of speaks English to translate it and just said, okay, we're done.
Proofread your shit.
No. Send it. But as I said, there's a lot of fun dialogue in there that you just you can just miss and just fuck around with. But yeah, I mean, I think in Metal Gear Solid 4, is that the one that has like 1.5 hour long cutscene, like for real?
Oh yeah,
the
ending cutscene in particular is a solid 90-minute movie. That's all takes place in one graveyard too.
It holds the Guinness World Record for longest cutscene ever in a video game.
Damn, okay.
Yep.
That's funny, but yeah.
And that cutscene presumably is like the one at the end, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a big boss and old Snake talking in the graveyard. And funny enough that I noticed just in the credits this time that I hadn't seen before, the Fury is the voice actor for Big Boss in Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yep, Richard Doyle.
Really?
Richard Doyle. Yeah.
Cool.
Nice. It's the end of the series chronologically, right? I think so. Yes.
Unless you count Revengeance, it's the end of Metal Gear Solid. So
I
far, I
really
guess
need
we'll
to
see what
replay
Konami does.
4 and 5 because I basically don't remember anything about them. Like
Despite the
nothing at
long
all.
cutscenes, 4 is actually a quick one to replay. It's not overly long. It's yeah, I mean the parts where you're playing the game are not are not overly long,
Oh,
but
that's
there is a lot of movie in that one.
I
More-
like to think that Kojima may be autistic. Like he goes into extreme autistic detail with the lore that he writes. And
Mhm.
me, I'm autistic as well. Like I want to go through everything the first time and yeah, just skip dialogue for multiple playthroughs. But except for maybe, like Death Stranding again, because I've 100% completed the game 4 times across different platforms. And yeah, like
the
I can never get
original
tired
or
of it.
2?
The original Death Stranding. And I have just completed Death Stranding 2
No
100%.
spoilers. I'm waiting for the PC port.
Yeah, no spoilers. I won't spoil anything.
I haven't played any of the games.
Though there was yeah. Though there was one thing in DS2 that I did see coming, but I won't go into detail there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like over 200 hours worth, like, yeah, it was quite a ride.
I always appreciated Kojima and how much he obviously cares about his projects. And I have a friend who just does not
Very
like him
passionate.
at all. Like he's just so involved with himself, and everything
Yeah.
he's doing now is just a vehicle to hang out with celebrity friends. Like, look, here's me with Mads Mikkelsen. Look, it's Lea Seydoux. Like taking pictures with him.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, there's a little bit of that, but you know, I honestly think the guy's a genius. Like he makes really good shit. And I've
Kojima.
enjoyed a lot of stuff that he's made.
Jimbus, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that it's very easy to understand why someone does not like Kojima, which is why, like, I think if someone says like, "Oh man, I can't stand Hideo Kojima," even though I like a lot of Hideo Kojima's work, if not all of it, actually, I can't think of anything he's done that I've not liked. Though I've not played Death
Right.
Stranding 2, so who knows? I sort of don't try to argue them out of it because I'm just like, yeah, I mean, it's he's definitely not for everybody. He's the way I think I would always refer to him as is he's one of my favorite absolutely batshit insane people that's working in the video game industry. Like he is a crazy person, and I wouldn't say, oh no, he's a rock solid writer, and every single one of his scripts are airtight and they totally hold up, and there's nothing you can poke holes in at all. Whereas I think that he's a different type of brilliant in that I think he's very good at combining not just video game cinematic storytelling, but gameplay storytelling with the things that he's doing in the game itself. In fact, Death Stranding, I know that Metal, you haven't played it. This might seem a little bit less easy to grasp, but I think it's probably one of the best examples of to use a really pompous term, ludonarrative consonance, so the opposite of dissonance, in that what you're doing in the game, the gameplay, the idea of delivering packages, of linking all these different survivor outposts with what's basically an internet. Like essentially Death Stranding is about you, the first one at least, is about you giving Wi-Fi to the remains of post-apocalyptic America so that communication and transportation and sharing of resources is much more possible between these disparate outposts. And you're doing that through physically traveling to and connecting different places together. And in the actual gameplay itself too, you are connected to our actual internet while playing, and you're sort of playing asynchronous co-op with hundreds of people at any given time, so you're not actually in the game with them, but you'll be able to share structures that you build with them or supplies that you drop off, and you'll be able to see those people's names and give them likes, which then gives them bonuses in their own playthrough. So you're connecting with other players in a story that's about connecting the world together in order to achieve a goal and like overcome a conflict as a group, even if you're not constantly interacting with the people face to face, because it is sort of this desolate post-apocalyptic wasteland. And I think that a lot of game creators that try to do like sort of high-end story-based things don't understand that the gameplay being representative of the story that you're trying to tell is important for that. And I think that, I mean, Metal, I'm sorry, I'm going to bring it up again. Last of Us Part 2
No!
is a really good example of that
God.
being
Never
done
leaves me.
poorly. Well, I mean, it's just because it's a great example of a game that is critically acclaimed by a lot of people.
Today
But
myself, it's fine.
there you go. But it does that poorly in the sense that the revenge bad, violence bad, murder bad, the important thing to do is to walk away from revenge. The actual thing that you're doing in the game is slitting the throats of hundreds and hundreds of people in order to get there. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, is this a lesson that you're teaching the player that violence is actually bad, or is violence the most fun thing you're doing in this game until you get to the end and it tells you that you're a terrible person because of it? You know, it's like your theme is disconnected from the story that you're telling, not with the writing, but with the gameplay itself. And I think that Kojima is really good at linking those two things together in a way that is, I think, more brilliant than many other people are capable of in the industry. That a lot of people just don't think too hard about the connection between their story and their gameplay. They just kind of do the story and then they do the gameplay and they hope that people like both of them independently. But
Right.
Kojima is like, no. Like, well, what is this medium? What can I do with it? What are the interesting twists that I can throw into gameplay conventions and game design conventions? And that's the stuff I think he's good at, which is also why, despite the super long cutscenes in Metal Gear Solid 4, and I mean all of them really, I don't agree when people say, oh, this guy should just be directing movies. I'm like, no, I think he'd just be a mediocre movie director if that was the case. Whereas I think that his genius comes in playing with the gameplay medium in ways that are novel at times and unique.
Though Kojima is working with Sony and Columbia Pictures for film ideas. And oh yeah, he's also working with A24 for a Death Stranding adaptation.
I hear he's not directing that though, right? At least that's what I've heard, that it's like another person directing it and it just takes place in that world. And I mean, hey, like he might end up deciding, okay, yeah, like because I'm this great movie game director, I can direct good movies. But I think that would be a mistake on his part because I don't think what he's great at, although I do, granted, I think a lot of his cutscenes are quite well directed.
Right.
I don't think what he's great at is directing movies and telling stories. I think he's really great at telling doing unique storytelling through the medium of video games specifically, not just making cutscenes in a video game. Which is also why I think when people say, "Oh, the Metal Gear games, they're interactive movies, like there's no real gameplay there." I'm like, no, that's not true.
That's something for David Cage games like Heavy Rain and Detroit's Beyond Human.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think just because Kojima is known for long cutscenes and long-winded dialogue, just to assume that he's like a movie guy and not a game guy is a really shallow analysis of what he does. Because yeah, he has long cutscenes and shit, but when it gets to the gameplay, the guy knows how to make video games. That is like abundantly clear.
Yeah, he's
very
always
good
pushing
at it
forward.
too.
Very
Yeah.
innovative.
And I agree, Mark, that he is very good in particular at blending the two worlds of cinema and gameplay together. He's probably the best at it, actually. I can't think of anyone else better. And I like that he'll write his dialogue where he just incorporates like buttons that you press into the dialogue.
Yeah.
Like, yo, bag is in that tree, Snake. Press the triangle button to climb up the tree. Like I think that's totally fine. I quite like that actually. He just doesn't. He knows what to he knows what to like pay attention to and what not to get hung up on. You know what I mean? It's like yeah, he mentions like players playing buttons in the dialogue. That's totally fine. Everyone knows they're playing a game. And I don't think it detracts from the cinematic quality of it at all.
Well, also I think back then that was just pretty normal. I think a lot of games did that, where it's like you press the thing button when they talk to the main character. I think that happens in multiple games from back in the day.
I think
if I recall
actually,
Sure,
correctly.
like Metal Gear Solid, the original one was probably one of the first games that it's diegetic characters telling you through voice acting, whereas it would most frequently be like on screen prompts that would show you. Because I mean, even like I think that it's difficult for a lot of people to really wrap their head around. Like in 1998, there was not a ton of video games that had voice acting to begin with outside of PC games, really. Like PlayStation definitely did have them, but often, especially Japanese games that were translated, were usually famously bad. I mean, one of the things that Resident Evil 1 was most famous for is some of the just horrendously bad dialogue and how campy it made the game. Some of it ended up becoming like a meme and charming, most significantly being Jill, you're the master of unlocking.
Yeah.
But I think that it's it was neat to see Metal Gear Solid, like the original Metal Gear Solid, actually breaking the fourth wall in ways that were compelling. I think the Psycho Mantis boss fight probably being the easiest example of just okay, like
Right.
he's actually reading my memory card. Like holy hell!
That's
It's
really
if
fun.
you had a save file for Castlevania Symphony of the Night, or I think what was one of the other ones? The Sweet Suikoden, I think, was one. There were a few games where if you had a save file for them on either memory card you had inserted, because I don't even think it had to be in the slot that your Metal Gear save
Yeah.
files were in. Psycho
Yeah.
Mantis would read the memory card and say that the character in game would say that he's going to read Solid Snake's mind, but he'd be reading your memory card and then telling you, "Oh yeah, I see you like Castlevania." And it's,
Yep.
I remember being like, "Wait, is that just in the script?" Because I did have a Castlevania Symphony of the Night save file on my card, and then I found out later it's like, "Oh no, he's actually like reading your memory card." I was like, "Wow, that's bizarre." But and then using things like the DualShock controller, because Rumble was not a big thing on controllers at the time. Like N64 had the Rumble pack that you had to buy separately, but Metal Gear Solid came out, I think it was the second game ever to support the DualShock, the original DualShock. So the PlayStation controller that rumbles wasn't a given. Like it was a new thing, and I think it was like Gran Turismo and Metal Gear Solid were the two that actually used it. And Psycho Mantis would tell you to put your controller on a flat surface and then say, "And now I'm going to move your controller with my mind." And
Yeah.
it would vibrate, and then your controller would move. And I guess like you knew that you had a vibrating controller, but that's the kind of thing that you're just like, oh man, like you didn't have to do that, but that's an interesting way to use that technology to immerse the player in the story in a way that is unexpected. Like it's not something that every game developer would have thought of. And yeah, so it's that stuff that I think Kojima is particularly special in regard to.
Oh yeah,
It's
he loves doing that in his games, and this is something I point out in this one specifically, like all the time. I mean, you have like small things like go into the menu in the start menu and just go into the viewer, the character viewer, and just spin Snake around for like 10 times, and then you get out of the menu and he just pukes, like shit like this. Like
Yeah.
it's just funny. Like it's completely useless, but it's really funny. Or you have like
It
all
is
these
very-
all these things that also go into the gameplay. I mean, the end boss fight is definitely my favorite one, or just like what you can do with him. You can go into the fight. You can eat his parrot. You can sneak up on him. You can get his camouflage. When you do him non-lethally, you get his gun. You can kill him normally. You can wait 10 days, and then when you log back into the game, he's dead of old age. If you see him for the first time after you go through the water, and you go into the left part first and get the sniper rifle, you can actually shoot him on his wheelchair, and he just explodes, and then you kill him there. It's just
That was so satisfying.
yeah. He was like,
Yeah, actually.
And there's also like a wheel flying towards you. If you don't move, that one hits you, like a little fuck you that you did that. it's just really funny. It's like shit like this you can do. Or you have like the fear fight where there's all those traps around, and at some point he gets hungry, and when you have food in your inventory, you can throw a poisoned frog on the ground, and he eats that, and he's like, it's poisoned, and then he doesn't get any health or stamina back. It's like shit like this, like so many things you can do. It's really fun. Nay.
I was
Yeah.
today years old when I found out what the purpose of the poison frogs were. I always thought that that was just like a lesson in, hey, you shouldn't eat everything.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you could do that in the fear fight until just now. It's amazing.
Yeah, it like just seeing the fear just blindly, eat a poison frog without really knowing. That is
Mhm.
also pretty funny. And what's also really funny is that you could take the fake death pill during that fight, and he could just, oh man, just when things were about to get interesting, and he just turns his ass around. You use the revival pill to come back to life, and you just catch him by surprise.
Yeah. Yes,
I
tons
think
of fun.
he's a very talented out of the box thinker
Mhm.
who I think has a very acute understanding of the hardware he's dealing with, and also like what the player is experiencing beat for beat, and ways to sort of engage the player beyond even the game itself. You know, you had that thing with Metal Gear 1 where there's like a codec number on the back of the box or whatever,
Yeah.
and
The
you had to
CD
call
case.
that,
Mhm.
yeah, to like move forward, because there's nothing in the game, I don't think, that tells you that's the number.
I
But if
think
you
the
look at the
kernel
back of the
tells
case,
you at some point when you call him.
oh, does he?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so.
I
Right.
think it doesn't happen. You can't just call him immediately and get it though. He'll say the number should be on the back of the CD case, and I think like again that was one of the real special things about playing it like launch night and being determined to get through it, because I can't tell you how long I was searching around the environment trying to find a CD until I just
Yeah.
picked like the 14-year-old me picking up that PlayStation 1 box, looking at the back of it, and then seeing Meryl and her codec number. I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't believe that worked.
That's pretty cool.
As a
Yeah, and
classic example of
Dude, there must
alternate
have been
reality.
a problem with rentals because you normally don't get the original box as a rental, right? I
Yeah.
just thought about that.
maybe, yeah.
You just have like the random rental store box. Like, look at the back of your seat. You guys like, that's just a rental box.
You have just
Yeah.
that like based video game store employee that's like,
Yeah.
hey, you should maybe write down this number. Trust me, when it happens, you'll
Yep.
know.
and back then, not everybody had like a dial-up connection to access the internet, right? So
Right.
Oh yeah, absolutely not. Having the internet was bizarre at that point. I mean,
Dude, back in the day,
I think that
they had the hotlines you can call for tips. I remember my dad calling one back in the day. We were playing some Tomb Raider game, and we could not figure out where to go next. And he actually called one of the hotlines.
called the tip line.
Yeah, because we couldn't figure it out for like a whole day or something. It's like, fuck this. It's like, yeah, you just need to do this and this. And it was like, nah.
Or if you were lucky enough to get a strategy guide or something.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the
right.
thing, and I'm willing to bet that especially Konami was probably pretty happy about things like that happening. It's like, hey, if you can confuse the player and make it so that like a normie gamer just isn't going to be able to think outside the box the way you're intending, like we can maybe sell a few more strategy guides this way.
Ooh, yeah,
Right.
yeah. I think what
Just
else?
keep things a little vague and just have the player figure it out for themselves,
Yeah.
like in some form or another.
During my playthrough of this, like it's been like probably like 12 years since I last played this. Whenever this came out, I don't know. And like people in chat just telling me things I'd never even known. Like in the Fury fight with the flamethrower guy, I just never knew you can shoot the pipes for water. I just wasn't aware of that.
Me
I'm also-
neither.
Wow. Okay, I've probably played the game 400 times, and I just learned that now.
See?
I didn't know that either. Yeah.
For some reason, I was always
guess
on the
I should've-
assumption those were gas pipes. I don't know why.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that is the conclusion to draw. Yeah, that's what I always thought. I wouldn't have thought they were irrigation pipes.
Yeah, you mean metal skill issues are hereditary? I guess so. Yeah. Also, I'm pretty sure that's the first time I played this on hard, because the Fury boss fight in my OG run, I got my ass beat for over an hour. I was angry. I got beat the fuck up. I was also doing non-lethal because that's like for me the funnest way to do this. I'm doing the Delta one as well, non-lethal and on hard.
Oh yeah, I've done non-lethal in Delta. I haven't done non-lethal in the original.
I almost did non-lethal in Delta.
Oh, yeah.
I
Apparently I
one enemy
I killed two-
died from a trap in the woods while I was CQCing him, and that is my one and only kill in that playthrough.
I killed
I
I
was like,
killed
"Oh,
two
man."
people somewhere. I'm not sure where. I have a vague idea where it happened. Because in the Sora fight, there was still no one to kill. No one that I killed. There's only the bosses
I had
there.
one guy.
I assume while I was being chased by the Shagohod, someone was too close to the RPG fire. That's the only thing I can think of that actually killed two people. And it's also two people on a motorcycle, so maybe someone was too close there and ruined that for me.
Yeah, Delta is actually the first time I went for a full non-lethal run. Like, because I mean, I guess for me, as much as I've replayed Metal Gear Solid 3 a lot, like probably more than any of the other ones, and I think I always would conceive of Naked Snake, like Big Boss, as being a guy who just kills. Like he kills a lot, whereas very often in Metal Gear Solid 2, I guess, and 4, I would try to not kill people as Solid Snake, because I sort of see him as more of a good guy who doesn't necessarily want to murder everybody. But I guess, like, 'cause I mean, I would always kind of play these games for like the narrative and try to immerse myself in the story. But I got sort of compelled to be like, maybe I will try a non-lethal run, because when you were saying that you were fighting the Fury on non-lethal, part of me was like, how do you even do that? And I was like, because I'm sort of using a ton of tricks to kill this guy every time, like setting claymores and C4 and things like that.
I would love to just fucking put claymores everywhere.
Yeah, but it was an interesting experience doing non-lethal, especially because that Grozny Grad escape without being able to use the M63, which was kind of just my go-to for that one. Thinking about the fact that it's like, okay, if I'm firing an RPG round at the Shagohod, I got to not kill the guys on the motorcycles. I mean, least of all the fact that, like, if you trank a motorcycle driver, it still crashes and explodes. So it's like, well, I mean, those guys are probably dead. But
when you do completely non-lethal and you beat Volgan non-lethal, you get his uniform. And if you have that on and look at the enemies, they just don't shoot at you on that chase. So they just stand there and don't do anything.
Oh.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's really,
I'm here.
It makes it
MK22
really
and Mosin nagging every single motorcycle rider.
Oh, the thing is, you can MK22 the people on the motorcycle and doesn't count as a kill.
Yeah, I know, because otherwise I would have had like 40 kills instead of 1.
Yeah.
Right.
But it makes this chase so awkward, because Evo's like, it's so crazy, and you're just looking at them and no one is doing anything. You just look at you. It's like, it's kind of funny.
That's one of those things. That's an example of, one of those things that's like so funny with game design, where like that on a cinematic level, something like that doesn't work.
Yeah.
But on a game level, you totally get it, right? Because you want that uniform to have some kind of perk attached to it. And on a video game level, it makes sense that enemies would see the uniform of their commander and be like, "Oh, don't shoot that guy," right? Like on a movie level, it's just like, of course that's not him.
Yeah.
But like this is a weird blend of the two worlds, right? And Kojima is quite good at walking that like tightrope between one and the other. In a way that's like
the
charming,
camo, Yeah, because the camo index is a gameplay system. So it's like, well, if you it's like you get the kind of Matrix Neo effect of like, if you understand the rules of a game in a video game, you can manipulate them and you can make them work to your advantage. And Kojima doesn't stop you from doing that, and instead says ways to be like, hey, if you can be a little bit more creative and try things that you think might work, I'm going to do my best to make it so that those things do work. Even if it sort of breaks the immersion of the story or what have you. It's like, I'm gonna not stop you from doing things that you might be like, I wonder what happens if I try this. At least give an interesting result to that.
I think another interesting example of that in particular is like, if you're on fire and you put the cardboard box on, it'll put the fire out.
Oh. That's fun.
Yeah. But like on one level, it's just like, how does that work? Like cardboard's flammable. I mean, that would just that wouldn't fix it. But on a video game level, you can kind of understand like, okay, the player is now covered by a thing.
Yeah,
and you can sort of get like, okay, that makes the fire go away. It's it's really interesting to think about. And yeah, I think Kojima knows when to go cinematic, and he knows when to lean into the gameplay aspects.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
it feels
he's
like
quite good at that.
he expects the players to be smart enough to figure like shit out with like things they would expect to work. Like in the pain fight, if you use smoke
Yes.
against the pain when he has like all the hornets as shield, the hornets fuck off because like that's like a thing when you do like bees and stuff. They do
Yeah,
like smoke.
smoking bees.
Yeah.
I was told by one of my friends when I was doing a revisit stream of the original that if you wear black camouflage, then the hornets won't come after you because, like in real life, like bees and hornets, like they don't see black. I attempted that, but
Very
it
progressive.
didn't work. It's
it
was
We don't see color. We're a hive mind here. We're all the same.
it's yeah, I did a bit of like a couple of shit posty like type of moves with the camouflage. Like I wear Snake's blackface camo, and you also get like a brown face camo as well, just to sell more into that.
I mean, I
It's
guess
really
like the
funny when
blackface
you-
camo, it's not really racist because like blackface, you have
Nah.
the big red lips around for like like ethnic blackface, the like or what would you call it, historical convention blackface, whereas it is just his face is painted black so he can blend into the shadows.
I guarantee you,
Right,
Zach's
right.
gonna mod that in for memes. That's 100%
I
gonna
mean,
happen.
Yeah, Nexus is gonna pull it down
Pretty much.
immediately. Like that is the kind of thing that they would not stand for sure.
It's not like a minstrel show depiction. It's obviously
Yeah,
just
exactly.
for, like nighttime camo. Yeah.
It's also funny when you call Sigint with the black face paint. He's like, wearing blackface, huh? The way he says it, it's really fun.
Oh yeah, like speaking of Sigins, like I love the interactions with him and Naked Snake. Like as far as
Yeah, they're fun.
him, like him going naked for the camo and him being in the cardboard box.
Oh, thanks
like-
for the rate. Thank you.
Thank
Snake
you.
being like, you should come inside the box, then you'll see what I mean. And he's like, man, I don't want to know what
so
you mean.
funny.
He's like, oh come on, Sig,
What?
I just want to get inside your manhole.
I can't explain it. I just feel safe, like I'm supposed to be in here.
It was my destiny to be in here, in the box.
Yeah.
As someone in chat already pointed out, it really helps that these games embrace the campiness they have. I mean, if you eat one of
Yes.
the glow caps, they're like, yeah, I just ate the glow cap and it just charged my battery. I was like, hold on a second, Snake, and you just hear her talk to like Sigyn. Is that possible? It's like, no, absolutely not. Should we just tell him that's the case? It's like, yeah. Okay, yeah, they definitely charge
he'll
your
buy
batteries.
He'll buy anything anyway. He's a dumbass.
It's so funny. It's like some
And,
kind of-
yeah, there are really campy moments like that integrate gameplay in some funny way, and there's like some gags in the cutscenes that are almost Austin Powers in their sort of like comedic execution. But then there's also like really like
Pants.
sophisticated, heavy thematic like stuff in this game where like it makes you feel something, and you have to be very skilled to be able to navigate that, without it resulting in tonal whiplash, where it's just like, oh, now we just did a comedy beat and now it's like serious, and
yeah.
like not everyone does that well, but Kojima does do that well for the most part, I think.
Yeah,
I think especially the final battle in this game just sort of like it always kind of hits me emotionally just because it's so well done. And when you do like your first playthrough, you might not realize it, but like understanding the context of this story and not so much how like because it doesn't like I mean the boss isn't a real character, so tying into real history is I guess not the term to use, but the idea of politics dictating not only a military mission's goals but the public perception of how those goals were achieved and how to not only manipulate the like governments and the powers themselves but the public into having a story that they can grasp and accept, and that being the kind of thing that sometimes a soldier will have to end up paying the price for is an interesting way to approach Cold War fiction. And like even a lot of like James Bond movies don't necessarily have that level of depth despite being I would say overall, James, I mean, I guess maybe not in the Roger Moore area, but James Bond tends to be a bit more serious than Metal Gear.
Yeah.
But at
Mhm.
the same time, it's like I don't think there was ever a Bond movie that has that level of complexity in how it approaches the Cold War and the idea of the world needing a scapegoat for something happening like a US like an American nuclear device being detonated on Russian soil in 1964 or 64. Yeah, I think it's 64 that this game takes place.
Yep.
And when you realize that, I mean, I guess this is spoilers for the game, everybody, because I guess in talking about this now, I kind of have to mention how it ends. The boss being a person who was a hero for her entire military career, that's realized now the thing she has to do to effectively save the world, because like a nuclear war between America and Russia at this time would have resulted in just total nuclear annihilation, is not just sacrifice her life, which she does have to do, but her reputation. Like she
Yes.
has to go down in history as a traitor,
Mhm.
and essentially taking responsibility for that device being in the hands of like I guess a rogue Russian faction. And it's just the kind of thing that's like that heaviness is just not really what you would think would come out of a game that has jokes about the safe place being this little box that I hide in.
Hmm.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
it sort of disarms you in a way that her story about like the idea of loyalty, and loyalty not necessarily to a country or a it is to the mission. So I guess what would be the way to say this? Not necessarily loyalty to a country or to a flag, but loyalty to your purpose. And if her purpose is, I can't let this world be destroyed in nuclear Armageddon, and the thing I have to do is brutal and horrible, and it will ruin my life and the history's view of me, despite the fact that I've sacrificed so much for them. But ultimately, because she's a hero, it is something that she's willing to do. It's the idea that like it's not for glory, not for myself, but for the mission, like the purpose. And I don't know, it's good stuff.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's very powerful material because it's a whole new level of sacrifice, right? Because some people might sacrifice themselves because they know they'll go down as a hero,
And the dev rate
you
as
know.
well. Thank you very
But
much.
the whole idea behind her sacrifice is like when she does this, the world is going to hate her, except for the one guy who knows the truth. That's why that ending is so beautiful, right? It's
Yeah.
actually quite moving.
And it's one of the it's one of the factors to Big Boss becoming the villain in Metal Gear 1 and Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake.
And I mean, guess to another extent, to spoil more of the Metal Gear series, Zero becoming a different type of villain, because they both view Boss's sacrifice and her purpose, her vision in different ways, and it's that disagreement that sort of causes all the things that happen all the way up to Metal Gear Solid 4.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that you'd have to go
Right.
into kind of more deep lore to get into that stuff. But
I just have to believe everything you guys say of the other games. I haven't played them in so fucking long. I just don't.
thanks, Deb.
I said yesterday while I was streaming Delta, I was like, I need to, like, maybe next year when there's like a bigger time slot where no other games come out, just do like a full marathon on like all the Metal Gear games again. Not again, I didn't do it before, but just
Well,
go through them.
1 and 2 are pretty quick. 4 is, I'd say the trickiest thing there is just getting it
No, 4
running,
and
because
5
I
are gonna
mean,
be the longest.
no, I'm actually Peace Walker and 5 are going to be the longest, because those are the ones
can I stream
that.
my PSP? Because I that as a
Well,
physical
no,
copy.
Peace Walker's in the emulator. The HD collection has Peace Walker. In it.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
one's not on Steam yet, but it can be played.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
by the way, because
That
it's
said-
on stream right now, before I forget it, it's more a gameplay thingy. But yeah, I was playing on hard, and I got the alert going. It's like, okay, just kill me real quick, guys here that shoot me with the AK-47s. they take so long to kill you on hard. I was like, did I do the wrong difficulty? You can
Well, I
tank
think it's
so
a
many
Metal-
shots. It's crazy.
I think that's a consequence of Metal Gear Solid 3's healing system, because if you didn't, you effectively, there's one item that can just straight up heal your health, the life medicine, and I think there's like 3 of them in the game. So you need to be tanky in Metal Gear Solid 3 for it to work at all. Otherwise, the bosses would be almost flat out impossible. Whereas all
Right.
the other Metal Gear games, you can heal mid mission. Except I don't know, maybe not Peace Walker. I don't know. It's been a little while since I played Peace Walker. I forget how that helps. Yeah, I think actually no. There's a bunch of healing items in Peace Walker. It's
But yeah, no,
you
I
still can eat
didn't-
food, but the food just heals you.
I didn't actually mean to stream from my PSP. I just have that as a physical copy on my PSP.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
No.
Proves that you own it. You can
I think
emulate
I
it
have
ethically.
Most
Yeah.
of the Metal Gear Solid games physical. I need to
I've
double-check.
got multiple copies of most of them. That's that was the one game series that I collected physical games of. Although Delta, I don't think I'm gonna pick up physical just because I have it on Steam. It's fine.
Metal Gear Solid 1 in the thick double disc PS1 container. It's just really fun.
How many discs was that again? 3, 4?
Just 2.
I think 2, yeah.
2? Oh, okay.
I think that one had the Silent Hill 1 demo in it back in the day.
Oh, really? Cool.
I think so. if I
Actually,
rem-
that I don't remember. I know that Metal Gear Solid 2 had Zone of the Enders, but I
Yeah.
don't remember
yeah,
being
it
so- Silent Hill came out not long after it though.
At least I think,
Konami was on a roll back then.
one of the
Yeah.
versions you could buy had that. Maybe Chad can correct me on that, but I'm pretty sure that some of them had the demo for that.
Had a bit like a 3-year run of Castlevania Symphony of the Night, Metal Gear Solid, and then Silent Hill, like the
Man,
original.
Symphony of the Night is
It's,
so good, man. Love that game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
still the best Castlevania game.
That's definitely
Speaking
my
of
favorite.
Castlevania, there is a mini game in MGS3 where
Yeah.
you're in the prison and you save the game with paramedic. She tells you about Renfield and Dracula, and when you leave the game and you go back to it, not much later actually, you jump into like a nightmare scene. It's the Guy Savage mini game. You think Konami would have, made their own equivalent to Capcom's own Devil May Cry?
Yeah, I mean,
Because,
it's sort. I guess they tried 3D Castlevania a couple times, not
Right,
too long
yeah.
after that in the PS2 era. But I think at the time they were doing the N64 Castlevania games, and yeah, N64 not the best platform for a fast-paced action game. 'Cause, frame rate stuff. I know.
Yeah.
I know. If you guys want to hear me talking about frame rate, just watch the EFAP anniversary because there's
yeah.
a lot of
That
that.
came up all the time.
Yeah, well, I mean, we covered a video talking about Bloodborne's frame rate, but yeah, the Doc Savage Nightmare actually is in Delta, and this version of it was actually developed by Platinum, who did
Yeah.
Revenge.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And it's quite good. I
need
would
to
probably play a full game of it.
Need to remember
Me
to
too.
do that on my next stream because I probably finish up
Once-
my playthrough next stream. But, yeah.
Once you unlock it, though, you can. I think actually, once you unlock it and once you finish the game, it's selectable from the main menu, so you
Yeah,
can just go in and play
is.
it.
Yeah, look at me just standing there. It's just like, just kill me already. Come on, I want to do it over.
I just want to die, damn it.
Skill issue.
Yeah, fucking losers.
If I can to touch back on the
Of
big
course.
boss thing, the whole arc with her I think is really well handled throughout the whole thing. I mean, there are some flaws in his writing. There are some, like I said, some cringe exposition and stuff, but all the stuff with Big Boss I think is really good. Like in the beginning, she gets introduced through the codec near the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that like classic movie thing where the person behind a bunch of the bad stuff is like introduced early, and then it's like later on, around the low point, it's just like, it was you. Well, I mean, this is different in regard to that kind of structure, because like pretty much around the first act break, that's like the big realization that Big Boss has defected supposedly. and then that introduces the whole framework of the game, basically, where it's like, here's all the bosses you're going to end up fighting.
Mm.
And then the rest of the game is just about basically going back into the same region, killing all the bosses, taking care of Big Boss, destroying the weapon. And when you first hear from Big Boss through the codec, you sort of get a hint. Like, you immediately get the sense, like, okay, Snake really respects this woman. But then she starts talking about all this sort of philosophical stuff about there being no such thing as good and evil and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
um one of the big themes of the game, I think, is these relativist ideas of like the ideas of what is perceived as good and evil can be turned on its head by the constantly shifting
times.
political environment, right?
At times.
Where like what is evil one year may not be evil another year, or vice versa with good. It all depends
Yesterday's
on
good
like
may be
political
tomorrow's
motivations and what nations want and who has like power over other nations, and it's all constantly shifting. And then it's just like, how do you define good and evil within that framework? And then you as a player might get the sense immediately that like, oh, what's she thinking? What's her rationale here? Is she going to be good in the game? Is she going to be a bad guy? But like she's saying, like when you're immersed in that world of, espionage and, political affairs, you sort of lose your grasp on what is good or bad, right? And that's another sort of aspect of the themes in this game.
Yeah.
And then you like around basically the break into Act 2 is like you see that Snake sees that she's visibly defected. Like that seems to be the case. And then it's just about pursuing her and finding out what the fuck happened and why she did what she did. Or I mean, well, earlier on, like considerably before the end of the game, like not too long after you re-enter the forest at night, you do encounter Big Boss, and then he asks, "Why did you defect?" And then she says, I can't remember what she says actually.
I didn't.
She
She says, "I
She's
didn't,
loyal to the end, but then there's some
yeah.
ambiguity where it's like, what exactly is she talking about? Because even in the subtitles, the word "end" is in quotations. And then you realize there's a character called the End. He's like one of the bosses. He's like this old sniper dude. And it's just like, what does she mean exactly? Like, is she actually loyal to the End, or is she just loyal to like her sort of the villainous sort of group that she's affiliated with herself now? And then I think the way it all unfolds is actually like genuinely like sort of surprising, but it's like, oh, yeah, I kind of get why she was like it never feels like a rug pull, you know what I mean? Where it's just like, or like jumping the shark or anything like that, where it's just like, oh, that's like it I don't know, it all just works, you know? It's like
Well,
you're unsure about her motive. You think she's one way, and then she goes another way, and then she's like, "Oh, she was loyal actually," and it all just flows really well. And it never feels like, "Oh, wait, hang on, what? That doesn't work." Like it's just really well done, and that is sort of the core of the game. Basically, is the relationship between Snake and Big Boss, right? I mean, if you're gonna handle one thing in the game well, I mean, that should definitely be one of them. And I always thought it was.
I mean,
Absolutely.
her actually being like quote unquote not defected for realsies helped me with accepting that she was like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna follow this crazy motherfucker Volgan that just kills people all the time. He definitely is the thing I want. It's like I don't believe she will do that. And then I got reminded that oh wait, she's just doing this for, the world basically. So then I was like, okay, that makes actually more sense that she accepts this.
Her will is
foul.
basically it's not about, God, well, what was it that Big Boss interpreted what was it that the boss? Oh yeah, like it's not about changing the world, it's about leaving the world the way it is. And that can be interpreted in so many different ways. And that's what led to Big Boss and Zero disagreeing about what one person wanted for the entire world.
Yeah, well, and again, I guess there's probably a lot of contention for their two interpretations and what they mean. But I guess the way I always understood it is that Big Boss, and I guess to clarify, like the female antagonist of this game is the boss. Big Boss is the
Yeah.
title that Snake is given at the end of it. So people aren't getting confused. His vision of it is based on giving people, and in particular soldiers, freedom. Like have it the idea be that mercenaries are the soldiers, and that ultimately it's if people want people dying for them, it's they should just be paying people that aren't ideologically or morally invested in their cause, because that ultimately that is, at least as far as the Big Boss is concerned, I'm not saying my own ideology here just so people don't clip me,
Clip him. Do it.
is like for a soldier it doesn't really matter ultimately. It's they are to fight and die for the people who are in charge, and removing the nation from that system and giving them the freedom to take or reject any job that they want based on A, how much they're being paid, and B, what they actually think and agree with those motives. Whereas so essentially like kind of a world like without nations in a way, or like with no national superpowers. Whereas Zero, like Major Zero in this game, who eventually becomes the leader of the Patriots, which is actually set up at or in the text, it shows you that it's set up at the end of this game. His vision of it is control, that in order to keep the status quo and have the world function in a way that's actually fair, it's they need to be controlled and they can't be left to make their own decisions, which leads to all the crazy kind of AI stuff that happens later on in the series, and like the nanomachines things and stuff like that. It's that controlling people so that they don't they're free of the burden of choice. So I mean it's interesting as you get deeper into the series, how the philosophical concepts unfold, and you could make the argument that it's all a bit unclear. And I'm not going to do the like Kojima fanboy thing and be like, oh well, that being unclear is the point. It's like, maybe you could make the argument that maybe it would have been better if some of this stuff was laid out a little bit more clearly. But I think that's also what makes the famous 90-minute long cutscene in Metal Gear Solid 4 where Big Boss, like Naked Snake, the one you play as in this game, is talking to Solid Snake about the difference in those two views. Like it's essentially a 90-minute cutscene of him kind of laying that out to Snake. And yeah, so Metal Gear.
Metal Gear. So I remember the boss is like this long monologue at the end. I remember that being a bit too on the nose. I think that could have been cut in half. Just kept going like they're also the soldiers are also just humans, even if they're enemies. It's like, yeah, okay, I got it. And because you kind of just retreads the things she already told you earlier in the game. I was like, okay, yeah, I got it. Can I shoot you now?
Yeah, and this is kind of part of the like Kojima being like sort of long-winded and maybe a bit artsy fartsy for his own good. So, but I mean, I guess that like you sort of, that's the element of you kind of have to be on board for what Kojima's doing in order to accept might not be the best reason for it, but to see it as good storytelling as opposed to just, oh, this is just like in the insane ramblings of a crazy person, because it's like yes and yes is kind of my thing. Like it is a good story and it is also the insane ramblings of a crazy person. I think that that both are sort of true. And yeah, it is, again, it's one of the reasons why I tend to not get in like big long-winded arguments about how much of a genius Kojima is, and that if you don't think so, you just don't get it. It's like, no, I kind of get that some people are just not on board with this, and that's kind of acceptable. Like I get it.
The problem I always have with these is just trying to get all my thoughts in one proper direction. With these games, like I feel like I need to play this game like another 7 times to get all the dialogue and get it all in order in my brain and everything, and then maybe. Well, I guess you don't need to put it in context to the other ones just yet, because this is the first one. right? But
Yeah,
just seeing
chronologically.
like it would be interesting to figure out how all the double, triple, quadruple crosses, if those even make any fucking sense at all, and how the actions line up to all the people do. Like Ocelot just doing all these fucking RNG juggling contests, trying to kill people. It's like I'm still not entirely sure where and how these make sense sometimes, or if he has this planned out, or shit like that. Like I feel like I need to look into this like hours and hours and then to just actually untangle all of this because
I think the biggest hole in the Ocelot juggles is always that in different scenes, both Snake and the boss just they know exactly when the gun is going to actually fire the bullet. Like they managed to just track it perfectly, and that's never really explained how or why.
Eva is Chinese metal. Just go along with it. No, she's a Chinese spy.
Chinese
she was
spy,
like made
yeah.
in Chinese breeding halls or something. I need to listen to the dialogue again. I could.
It's that she was raised by the philosophers, which were I guess like getting into this is they're sort of the precursor to the Patriots, but it was a group of
from what I've seen,
Russian,
from my
American,
chat
and
while I was
Chinese
playing. Apparently, Patriots have been retconned like multiple times who they are and who they not are. So I don't know who actually is what and. I don't have any ground to stand on with that because I don't remember.
Well, I think that with the device of the philosopher's legacy, it deals with the idea of inheritance.
Yeah.
Which I think is quite interesting too. It's like, you know, you have all these very powerful people amassing this enormous sum of money, and like so much so that you can fund wars like several times over. It's like hundreds of billions of dollars or something like that. And the philosopher's legacy is like all these world leaders sort of coming together and pooling their resources in order to fund like wars to sort of go to one agreed upon outcome. But then you know, the relationship between those people deteriorate because, you know, they're
of course
leaders of different nations. And yeah, it's just like they all have their own different motivations from the start.
I think my legit reaction when they told you was like it didn't work out, I was like, oh really? No.
Yeah.
What? They didn't get along forever.
Right. And then
China, U.S. and China, Russia, and the U.S. didn't get along forever.
Famously friends in world history forever and ever.
Best buds.
And then all those people got old, and they died, and then all the money fell into the hands of one guy with a very sort of extremist view, which was Volgan, right? And he's just like, I'm gonna like, what does he do with? He's one person now, and he has all of this fucking money. And he's just like, I'm going to build this facility. I'm going to build a super weapon that can just alter the course of history so drastically. And it's just like, that was not initially intended. But it also, at the same time, it's inevitable, right? Because people age, they get old, they die. And then the wealth or resources that get amassed have to go somewhere, right? And then they go to this guy. And, you know, sometimes you don't know who it's going to go to. And that can like alter things so drastically for the entire world. I think that's a really interesting idea that this game also explored. I think Call of Duty kind of played with that as well, you know, with the idea of I don't want to get too just sidetracked here, but like the Modern Warfare games, right? In Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the first one, you had fuck, I can't remember his name, not Makarov, but his like superior. He's like the boss of the first Modern Warfare game. It might be, yeah. That kind of sounds familiar. You could be right, Mark. But the idea is like being like you kill him, and then all his power and all like the loyalty of all his men go to Makarov, who's like a much younger, more ideologically driven guy, who lacks the sort of not only the age but the wisdom of the previous guy. And it's like things are worse now, you know, because everything has fallen into this new guy's hands, and he's just like not only so extreme but like bloodthirsty. And it's just like you spend your life amassing like some kind of power and loyalty, and then you don't know who it's going to go to after you're gone. I
That's
think this
the
this
big
game sort
fear
of
with
deals with that.
Steam and Valve.
True.
What happens
True,
when
yeah.
Gabe is gone?
Right. Yeah.
Shit, now I forgot what I had in mind. Well, just continue. It'll come back to
Sorry,
me,
man.
I'm sure.
Well, that was basic. That was just my point with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The idea of inheritance. I think that's another theme of this game that I think is pretty strong, and this game explores pretty well through the device of the philosopher's legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Which basically, if you had to boil it down to what exactly it is, it's like a collection of microfilms that depict the bank transactions of how Volgan collected all this inherited money from the philosophers, or from the world leaders that initially pooled their resources to guide the world in a particular direction.
Yeah, the microfilm
funding
has
wars in a certain way.
the banks and account numbers, a way to access the money in all the places around the world that it's hidden. And
Yeah.
this microfilm is the only thing that actually has those locations. So it's not that
Mm.
Volgan doesn't have this money as liquid cash on him. He just is the only one who knows how and where to access it.
Okay, right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But he does have enough money at least on hand to be able to build this fortress, right?
Oh yeah, he certainly has withdrawn enough to fund two
Grozny Grad.
very famous scientists to basically develop him what's effectively, like, in I guess in function, a Cold War equivalent of the Death Star, like a weapon with such ability to instill fear that the entire world would be forced to obey, because he can just be like, well, obey or I'm just gonna nuke you and you won't be able to stop it, because I can launch a nuclear warhead from anywhere in the world and it can hit anywhere in the world, and the no superpower, no, the US, Russia, China, any of them have anything that can match it.
Yeah.
Right.
The Shagohod, a thing that definitely will work the way they explain it.
I mean, that, like, Grandin's whole thing is that no, like, it won't. He's like, fuck the Shagohod, it sucks. Metal Gear, tank needs legs, not a rocket.
We just no. I mean the whole thing. It goes down the planeway, the big highway thing, and at 300 miles an hour, and because you shoot it from there, it has all the trajectory, and now it can shoot everywhere you want.
Yeah.
Which
I think it's the idea of
physically makes
shooting
pretty much
shooting
no
the
sense
warhead
at
from
all.
a stationary position, you could only cover a distance of like 2,500 miles or something. But if you combine it with the velocity, the maximum velocity of the Shagohod, it then increases that distance to 6,000, meaning that they can land a warhead in the heart of the Western continent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where the
Yeah.
concept of Metal Gear, like the Granin's theory of having a bipedal tank, a tank that can walk and get over any terrain, is that you can then get the launcher close enough to anything.
Yeah.
Yes.
As opposed to just being able to just say, I have a runway, therefore I can create an intercontinental ballistic missile through rocket engine force plus tank.
I like how this game handled that. You know, like as a prequel to Metal Gear Solid, it's like the main threat being the Shagohod is sort of like a early prototype idea of like the idea of the Metal Gear system that would eventually come to be, which is basically a warhead launching system with legs. The idea of taking something like human legs and applying that to a tank. Like, I always thought that was cool, and that's obviously like what Metal Gear revolves around. But in this game, they didn't quite come to that conclusion yet. But then you meet like the socialist leader guy. You find he's like a weapons dev, and he's just like, nobody sees it yet, but like you put legs on one of these things, like it's gonna be great.
It's kind of also the first appearance of Huey in one of the photographs, like Otacon's father. He's like,
Right.
I've discussed these plans with my friend in America, and then in Peace Walker is where we kind of get the payoff for that.
Right.
He was part of the Manhattan Project.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The blue guy?
Blue guy? Oh, Dr. Okay.
yeah, Dr. Huey Emmerich. Like, in hindsight, I would have had like a bit of an Oppenheimer reference in there, but nah, it's best save it for 2 because Oppenheimer was mentioned between Otacon and Emma Emmerich.
Nice.
But yeah, like
Now you
in
can
the
see on
in the
the
lore, he
footage,
was better.
there's another history lesson for a little bit, and then we tied back into, yeah, then this Volgan guy got all the power and he's going crazy. He's Colonel of Gru and shit like that. So as already mentioned, it's like the melding of the real life events at the time with this craziness that's going on with all these different military factions. It's like, yeah, he was part of the military faction, but he was like super aggressive. And then later it's like, yeah, when I was this guy, I couldn't really do this because my, I don't know, what was it? My stance, my rank didn't really allow it, or something along those lines. And then he went and made the Cobra unit and does like all these crazy things and doesn't really care about his countrymen and just nukes them to orbit after the virtuous mission is gone. And yeah, it's
that is one of my
Yeah.
favorite aspects of this game is the meshing of the two things.
yeah, I think it's
Because
cool.
like you deal with all these historical elements, even going as far as to use. I mean, we're seeing it right now on your feed, right? It's like it'll use like actual historical footage.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then the
and
ones they make new, they match in style and like the black and white thingy, but like
Yeah.
it's this
Yoji Shinkawa art. Yeah.
yeah.
color grading, sepia, noise. Yeah, they
Mhm.
sort of replicate all of that. And then you combine that with all the sort of the comic booky kind of stuff where it's just like larger than life characters and villains and powers. And like you have an electricity guy, you have a bee guy, you have a ghost guy, you have like a weird. The fear is like, I don't know, I can't quite put my finger on the fear. I don't know if he's just has like superhuman dexterity or what's going on with his body exactly that lets him do what he
He's
does. But
I think he's like Spider-Man, like not like
Yeah.
Marvel
He's
Spider-Man,
a
but he's a spider crossed with a man, like in the way
fighter
that
in fear.
yeah.
anyway,
Is
I
there-
love all that. I
it's
love
kind of
that.
like-
That's one of my favorite aspects of this game is the blending of those two things.
Yeah.
It
Is
feels
there
like
b-
a comic book and a sort of historical documentation at the same time.
I didn't listen to every codec call during a fight or anything because the thing is I know how the fights work for the most part, so I didn't really call anyone on the codec. But there's probably like backstory as to how they got that way in some of those codec calls. I imagine I didn't go back and check it. I don't know if anyone knows and can tell me.
Well, I think at least the Fury is supposed to be one of the first cosmonauts. Like
Yeah. I mean, he basically just has a jetpack and a flamethrower. I'm more interested in like why is Volgan full of electricity, or why is the Sorrow
why is the end
ghost when he died
photosynthetic?
after 2 years? I just interested if this were like experiments and stuff. Like, how did they start to control bees? But I guess it's just the suit he was wearing, because if you get his suit, you can also control bees and get them to shield you for an attack or something.
Huh.
Yeah, you get like the suits when you kill them non-lethally. If you remember to pick them up. I actually forgot to pick up the Furies one after I beat him up for an hour and a half. Well, he beat me up, but you know what I mean.
Well, yeah, I mean, because the arena for the Fury gets totally closed off, and so you got to remember to kind of turn around and grab it from behind you.
Well, it's just on the left or something when the fight ends. I thought it was like after you go up the ladder again, but I was wrong, and then you can't go back in. I was like, oh, whoops.
I just noticed Sherasite's right there. It's like, yeah, the end was the first time Kojima had a sniper that had photosynthetic skin. And I
Oh,
guess
yeah.
maybe one of the reasons he's so tired is because he's wearing so many clothes. And Quiet decided, hey, you know what? I need that vitamin D.
Yeah, how can you get a suit from him if it explodes? Listen, they all explode. It's really
Yeah, they
funny
do.
because you go out of your way to do it non-lethally, and then you just fall over and explode or something. It's like, no.
I mean, I think them exploding by default, I think, is the way in which the non-lethal kills can still remain canon in the story. Because it's like, yeah, no, you didn't kill them, but they
Yeah.
do die. So the story treating it as if they died, it's like, wait, no, but I took them out with tranquilizer darts. What the hell? Like, no, but
Either
then
the
they blew up.
tranquilizer darts are powerful, or they just have like white phosphorus in their cyanide pills.
Oh
I don't know.
no.
Yeah, it's like there's a self-destruct element to the Cobra unit in this
Yeah.
game, and I think
Yeah,
part of
they-
it might have been
they-
that the boss knew that they all did have to die for this mission.
Yeah, they did. They just explode like a tokusatsu or Kamen Rider villain and all.
They've bombs implanted in them. That's why they go boom. I do wonder what the switch for that is. If they die, they still shouldn't go off, probably, right? I don't know. I'm just talking. I don't know why they explode. I just see it as game at this point. To be honest, it's like, oh yeah, I beat the boss. He explodes. Obviously.
It is pretty
Yeah.
funny because every time it happens, it's not like made obvious in a cutscene where they have a grenade and they pull the pin or anything. They just
Yeah.
like explode, and it's
Yeah.
just like, okay.
It's especially funny with the pain because he's just like pain, and then he falls over
Yeah.
backwards, and he just boom. It's like, whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Not the bees, the explosive bees.
Oh god.
I kind of like that how they all end up sort of repeating their own name, like as if they're experiencing the brunt of like what it is they dish out, if you know what I mean.
That's
Like
the emotion they carry into battle, as the boss puts it.
Yeah, it's like the pain says the pain over and over. Like he's going through so much pain and then he blows up. And then the same with the fear. Like he's so terrified and then he destroys. It's like they're the means to their own destruction or something like that.
It's funny,
I don't know.
even though if you say it that way, it sounds funny. He's so furious, he explodes. It's just-
Yeah.
it still sounds funny.
That'll happen.
Yeah.
It was PCP all along.
It was the fear. I can feel it.
To touch on something a little farther back, that thing with the end and the quiet is really interesting because I remember with Metal Gear 5 that whole controversy with the quiet, where it's just like, why is she so scantily clad? And then Kojima's just like, oh, she needs her skin to breathe. And I remember thinking like, that's bullshit. Come on.
I remember thinking it's like, well, she's not the only sniper that's the case for. Like,
Well, yeah, well, but you just mentioned that with the end, and I'm like, oh yeah, well, he already had the idea of a photosynthetic sniper in Metal Gear. I never thought of that. I was just like, oh, so that was already there.
It's a
So
suit, though. It's
maybe
a suit
he was actually.
I'm pretty sure it's
maybe
a suit
he wasn't full of shit with that.
I'm pretty
Sorry.
sure it's the suit that does it because you get that suit and can do photosynthesis yourself.
Well, no, I think paramedic actually does say his skin is photosynthetic, or it's Eva. I forget. It's whoever you. And it's in the pre-boss fight, not codec. Actually, it's just radio in this game conversation where he's like, "Well, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna have the stamina to outlast this old man, even if this fight does go on for a long time." And she says, "I'm not so sure about that because his skin is photosynthetic, which means he could just turn sunlight into sustenance, essentially,
right?
Like the way a plant would."
Yeah. I also, I mean,
Kojima
even
was just like,
before
let's
the
make
realization,
this plant sexy.
Sexy plant.
Even before the realization with the end, I do actually like the idea of a sniper breathing through their skin, and that means they don't have to breathe through their lungs, which then won't throw off their stability when they're actually taking aim. I think that's a really interesting idea.
I just like that there's a sexy naked woman.
Yes, also yes.
If she also does photosynthesis, fine, I'll take it.
Yeah, right.
I mean, like, I think the thing for me, like, when there was, I think it was kind of a made-up controversy by the puritanical voices on, I guess not necessarily even the internet, but in like games media at the time. I was just like, look, this is like a 2 out of 10 on the scale of weird shit in the Metal Gear games, okay? Like, I think if Kojima wants to be like, hey, this super sexy lady is dressed the way she is because she's one of the, like, for lack of a better way of putting it, like superheroes in this series that has a power that requires her to be dressed this way. I'm just like, look, that's like a decent amount of story for the reason she is how she is, and is completely in line with the rest of this series. So I always loved the people that were like, I can't believe he would do something like this. It's like, look, have you ever played a Metal Gear game?
Yeah, it's like
Sniper
Kojima
Wolf, Eva, Quiet.
Kojima even said himself that you'll regret your words when you see why Quiet is the way she is.
Yeah, I think that was just a funny translation. I think he's like, you will regret your words and deeds when you see the context.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fun stuff. Is it only the HD remake that runs on 60 FPS, or did the original PS2 one also?
No, the
No, that
original
was
was
30,
30
I think.
FPS.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if it's the HD version or maybe even the emulator I used, but I do remember playing the HD remake as well at some point. Actually,
Yeah, the Blue Point remaster was always 60.
okay. I just wasn't sure because it's
HD
been
was
so long.
Subsistence, right?
No. Well, I mean, so the Metal Gear Solid 3 came out, then Subsistence was released, I think, at the same time on original Xbox as the first version there, and on PS2 as the game with a third-person camera. So it's where you could actually control the camera. Metal Gear
Yeah.
Solid 3 Snake Eater, the original launch, tough game to play. I gotta say, it's I think another one of the reasons why I wasn't like super keen on Metal Gear Solid 3 when I first played it, because I was just like, man, like without the Soliton radar, navigating with this sort of fixed overhead camera just doesn't really work very well. Because in Metal Gear Solid 2 and 1, both of them you have a little radar that gives you orientation of not only where you are, but where the enemies are looking and what they can see. Whereas I found that Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, the original launch on PS2 with the fixed camera, made it so that I was constantly getting spotted by people that I didn't even know were there. So it was, I think, encouraged you to constantly be going into first person view to look around. So Subsistence is where he was basically like, look, I'm just going to put the Splinter Cell camera in there. And I think in doing that, he made it a much better game.
Right.
Especially because you could always click the, I think, left stick to switch it back to the traditional camera if you wanted the sort of like cinematic intention of that scene at that time. And there would be times that I do that, and every so often there'd be times that you'd be able to see more that way.
Yeah.
It was a welcome addition for sure. I always thought like the sort of fixed, curated camera was always pretty good in the original. Like it's wide enough. Like the only problem is like seeing things at a distance, right? Where it's like completely assessing the battlefield from where you are. Because like when the camera is fixed from a certain location, you can't be sure what's like directly ahead of you or whatever. And it was really nice that finally having the mixture, like you could switch between one and the other, where you had the original intended perspective, but then you can also like switch it, and then you can actually see what Snake is seeing ahead of himself, whichever direction you're facing. Yeah, I really appreciated the Subsistence edition.
It was also fun. If you shoot Ocelot here with like a non-trank gun, you get a game over screen that turns into a time paradox overlay. Like it says game over and then turns into time paradox. I think that was always pretty fun.
It's cool.
Sorry,
Yeah.
and which fight gives you the time paradox one in this one?
Oh, just right here when you shoot Ocelot after you knocked him out in the cutscene and he's lying there. You can shoot, if you shoot him in the face here, you get a time paradox overlay. No, not overlay. The game over screen.
It's like, hey, you broke canon. He's not supposed to die.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a recurring character.
There's a reason he
And
doesn't explode.
Yeah, time paradoxes also, apply to Naked Snake as well, because he is Big Boss. And if he dies, then that breaks canon.
It was fun. This is like another thing they just let you do, and then just do something fun with it. I mean, we already talked. We just started talking about a couple of the game mechanics with like the zooming in and out with the stick, which is very nice. I think I did not have that when I first played this, because the copy I have on PS2 is the Snake Eater version, so I do not have
the original.
Did not have the Subsistence one. So it's my
well again, my first time playing it was on the 3DS with a crouch walking and all, and I did play the HD version like sometime after, and like at the time I didn't even know that it was based off of Subsistence. Like I knew there was like some content missing, because like at the title screen it said disc 1 Subsistence. I'm like, wait, there are other discs for this? And I'm like, oh, okay. There was a lot of content missing in the HD version. So I did play like Subsistence like on an emulator, and Yeah, I really wish they could have carried all of the Snake versus Monkey and Guy Savage stuff into there.
Yeah.
I think with the 2-disc release, the entire game, Snake Eater game, was on disc 1, and disc 2 was for Metal Gear Online, and then all the bonus stuff.
Ah.
Yeah.
So like it didn't make you switch discs in the course of the main campaign, which was good. I think. I
Yeah, I think
how
the
it
only
worked.
one that actually does that is the original game, and I guess Twin Snakes, which is a remake.
Yeah.
Was the
Yeah.
original release all on 2 discs for
Yep.
PS2? Was it?
For
Okay.
Metal Gear Solid 1. Sorry, no,
Oh,
no.
okay, okay, sorry.
Like all the other Metal Gear Solid games, physical copies, I think are single disc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you had DVD popping up as the storage format for Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, and then the next time they made the cutscenes infinitely longer, it was a Blu-ray disc. And yeah.
Mhm.
All right,
Taking
let's
advantage
see.
of that 50 gigabyte space, yeah.
Yeah.
This is definitely only one disc. Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. But it has online functionality.
Yep.
To some degree. No, let's see.
So yeah, like MGS1 had 2 discs. The Twin Snakes remake had 2 discs. Yeah, as far as MGS2 and 3, yeah, they only had 1 disc, except for their expansion, Substance and Subsistence, with bonus content and all.
Yeah, it would be like a special features disc.
Yeah.
Yo,
And
there's
Metal
a
Gear
number for the
Online,
Konami
which-
helpline on the back of the leaflet.
Let's call it now and
And-
see what happens.
I remember Metal Gear Online didn't even last that long. I think they took the servers for that down.
No,
Like, they-
neither
they
version
didn't-
of it really did, either for 3 or 4.
Right, yeah.
Holy shit, there's a whole timetable at the back of that manual? Yo, that's rad.
What's the timetable for?
It's just the
Like a
thing they
timeline?
talk about in the game. Einstein writes a letter to President Roosevelt. SAS is stationed somewhere. I think this goes from 1939 to 1962. It's all in German, so I'm not very good at translating on the spot while reading it. So
I thought you were going to say you're not very good at speaking German. I was like, Jesus.
I mean, I'm generally
How
not
long-
good at talking.
How long have you been on the internet speaking English that you just can't even speak German anymore?
Bro, the amount of times I forgot a German word while I was talking to my parents, this happened way too many times.
Yeah.
Sometimes I forget both words, English and German, and then I just don't know where the fuck I am anymore.
I guess I don't even really I don't visualize you speaking German in your day-to-day life, but I imagine you do.
Oh, man. Holy shit, there's so many little things in here. I need to check this out. This is cool. This is like all the things in here they tell you via codec. Wait, there's a little comic in here? Holy, what? Why is things so shit these days? This is cool.
Yeah,
It's like a little comic
used to
in
get
here.
things.
Remember when games had manuals? Pepper Ridge Farm remembers.
Yeah.
Nintendo's getting us to the point that we were eventually going to have to say, remember when the games had the game?
Right.
Sorry,
I
I'm
mean,
getting
whatever
distracted by this
critiques
manual.
people
I put it away.
Whatever critiques people have of Kojima, I think he at least cares about what he's doing. And he's trying to
Yeah.
offer a substantial experience to people. I mean, people can either like or not like Death Stranding. There's things that I'm not crazy about regarding Death Stranding, but I've played a bit of it. I played a bit of the first one, and I actually quite like it. I find it kind
It's-
of chill. It's like a chill game, and also
Yeah,
I love the online thing of like sort of people sort of building easier ways to navigate the terrain and like working together in a sort of non-direct way,
No.
you know, where it's just like, oh, this guy built this thing and I'm going to use it. I'm going to upvote it. Like, I think it's a clever system.
I want to
And I
play
like that,
the Death Stranding games. I think they're going to be a pretty perfect stream game where you just go around and do your deliveries and just talk to people in chat. I think it's actually should probably be
Yes.
chill.
It is a very
I'm-
chill experience.
I'm considering streaming it for the same reason. Yeah, it works pretty well for streaming, I think.
I'm just hoping we get us the PC port of 2 sometime
Yeah.
relatively soon. I
Yeah,
think the first
that-
one, it was like 6 months, so like it wasn't really that long after that Death Stranding 1 came out on PC.
Yeah, and Death Stranding 2, it did come out in May, did it? Yeah, just give it about like 6 months or so. Yeah, they'll come out with.
I mean, they
PC.
haven't announced anything, so like you gotta. With Sony being the publisher, it's like it could go either way. It could end up being like next month. It might be like, knowing Kojima and Keeley's connection, maybe they'll announce it at like the Game Awards, just so they have a Kojima thing to announce.
Yeah.
But,
like because Kojima, because Jeff Keighley. Like, really, I just stopped giving a shit about those Game Awards. I don't take that too seriously.
I just check out the
I mean,
trailers
yeah,
the
it's
next
not-
day.
Yeah, it's not at all serious, and I think in general most people are just there for the world premieres and not the
Right.
the actual awards. But yeah, no, it's a thing that happens, and at least for Kojima stuff, Kojima and Keeley seem to be pretty good friends. So
I
if
feel
you're
like
looking for
games-
Kojima news, that's a good bet.
I feel like they used Gamescom a lot more this year because the other ones are just kind of dead, like the other award shows.
Well, there's no E3 anymore.
I was
and,
surprised how many
Gamescom
trailers
is
came out
better.
from Gamescom.
I find it pretty entertaining to watch because like they're trying to turn this into like an Oscars for video games, but
Yeah.
video games and movies are very different realms. But we're like in the world of movies, you have a lot of like actors who are used to projecting and acting in front of crowds and stuff and performing. But with video games, you have a lot of very introverted people. And when you see
It's-
them on an awards show, they
Like the
don't
developer
behave
comes
in
out
the
with
same
his
way.
with his normal attire, and it's like, yo, hey.
Yeah, it's just everyone's like so nervous on stage and like stuttering. Honestly, it's just kind of funny to watch.
Yeah.
I think that's always been the element of the Game Awards that's been, I think, uncomfortable in that, but, like, it's funny, like, talking with Kojima as being a guy who just, like, really loves Hollywood and, like, being friends with celebrities and things like that. I think Keeley's got a lot of that in him, too. And I
Yeah.
think the problem with trying to integrate celebrities into the video game industry in the way that they are in Hollywood is that a lot of them don't really think of video games as anything other than like silly kids toys. So it's tough
Yeah.
to buy that they're serious, because you can sort of tell there's an element of like, oh, these are just nerds, so
Hmm.
it doesn't really
Mhm.
matter to it. And it's why every time they were like, oh yeah, and like, to introduce his new Fortnite skin, we've got The Rock, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
It's like, do we need this person to be on stage right now talking about how excited they are to have a new skin in Fortnite? Or like, I mean, that's a made up example, but it's always stuff like that that makes Game Award things seem as cringe as they end up being.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
Well,
Yeah,
it's,
it's a-
I mean, I'm ambivalent about it because I used to watch E3 almost exclusively for the cringe because they would have like these just fucking stupid celebrity cameos where it's just like, what is this guy doing here? And like,
yeah,
he
it wasn't
doesn't
Game
have a
Awards that
clue
they
about
had
what he's
Al
talking
Pacino.
about.
It's like, hey, how's it going, everybody? I hear my kids say video games are a new thing that's really cool and awesome. It's like, Al Pacino, you've never played a video game in your entire life. We know this. You're like 85.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you have someone young like Timothy Chalamet on stage, and he's like, makes me wonder, what games did he play as a kid?
yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't he have like a gaming channel or something? Like, wasn't that how he was found? He did like controller mods or something like that. I
Oh,
remember
yeah,
hearing
that was
something
him,
about
wasn't
that.
it? I
Yeah.
remember that.
And now he's Lisan Al Gaib.
Lisan Al Gaib.
Yeah.
I love that so much. The little pause he makes, and then it's like, Lisan Al Gaib.
That is so funny. Yeah.
It's hilarious. Oh god,
Javier Bardem, like, the best thing about the Dune movies, I swear.
so good. So while I have this on screen here, me sneaking around, how well I'm doing this is up to you. Probably not very well, but game mechanics, sneaking. you could think we had the sneaking stuff figured out back when this came out, and when Splinter Cell came out, and just another game I can't maybe here Hitman. Hitman has pretty good sneaking
Tenshu,
stuff, right? You could believe like, oh yeah, we got this down. We got some solid mechanics. Like here, you have your camouflage index where you can switch your camouflage depending on the terrain you're on. You can leave footsteps around, which was a big thing back in Metal Gear Solid 1, where the guards were like, oh shit, whose footsteps are these? And you're like, excuse me? You react to that? That's insane. And we just
things
they
even
just-
like if you walk through water and then it will leave like an actual trail of
Yeah.
like footsteps they can follow, or in snow. Walking over metal too, like a metal grate will make more sound. Like there was a lot of little things like that.
Yeah,
Yep.
and you can, if you make sounds to a degree, they notice it and they come around and try to find you. They call for backup when they know for sure they're under attack. Sometimes I wasn't actually sure when they call backup and when not, because sometimes you shoot them with the tranq darts and they're just like, oh, I guess nothing, that was nothing. And then sometimes you shoot them, they're like, oh god, I'm under attack. Ah, god, kill everybody. And I still haven't really figured out when that happens. I don't know if it's distance or certain angles or certain types of enemies who are more smarter than the other ones. I kind of want to fuck around
I
with
think
that more
actually-
in Delta, because I couldn't really figure out when that happened. and
So
when it
if you shoot
didn't.
them in the body from far away with the tranq dart and they can't hear the shot or like look over and see you, the idea is that they just almost feel like they got stung by something. And
Right.
like they're just like, wait, what the hell is that? Because like the tranq dart just like it's a dart, right? It's not a bullet that really hurts them. But Jojo, you're not getting tranked. Don't worry, Jojo.
Not today.
But yeah, and then like there's also things like if they will have to radio in for help, and usually there's only one or two of them that have a radio on them. So if you can shoot the radio and destroy it, and then make it so that they're just looking for you without any backup.
Oh,
There's
they actually
a lot of
tricked
little
me
things like that.
when you're in the
Actually, I'll
hangar
be right back.
destroying the Shago Hod. There's actually there's a radio on the wall, and someone just walked over there and called there. Was like, holy shit, I didn't even realize that is one. Because like, I thought it was just fine. But yeah, you have like, yeah, the enemies react to the things you do, and they find you better or worse depending on your camo. You can throw stuff like food around. There's porn mags you can find, you can put on the floor, and then they look at this and they're like,
Yeah.
ooh, boobies, you know. There's all kinds of things you can do. I mean, as I said, I've been doing non-lethal runs because I think they're like super rewarding if you pull them off. I think it's super fun. And you
Yeah,
get
try
like,
getting the camo index up to 100.
I did that yesterday in Delta, which you can pretty easily do when you get the camo from the end, where you have to hold him up 3 times in a row, and then he drops
Yeah, I
his camo.
figured that was the case.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it does
like,
better
it-
camo when you're in these areas. So just lie down. I did it by accident. I wasn't even trying to do it. I just put it on because it's just really good there in general. And it's like,
Yeah.
you got 100%. It's like, oh, okay, shit, nice.
Yep. Okay, getting an achievement for that, that's pretty satisfying.
Yeah, and yeah, the whole Metal Gear mechanic where you have like the evasion, caution, and alert status. So if you get found or they're just cautious, you get the caution alert up there, and you have to evade them until that is gone. Be that just lie somewhere for 3 minutes or find a little crawly hole to get away for X amount of time. You can do that, and then they just go back to their normal patrols and do all kinds of stuff until everything goes back to normal, and you can go try again or just continue.
Yeah, see, I'm not too fond of, going into like tall grass in order to hide myself, because that would mean switching to first person where you could just barely see what's around you. Like, I think they did fix that very well in Delta to be more aware of your surroundings. And but over time, I learned to take advantage of the AP sensor, the anti-personnel sensor, to see exactly where they are. So yeah,
On-
like
on
for
normal
every
I think on normal you also get a mini map, right? If you don't play on hard. There's like an item I think you can get. Oop.
Oh, okay. I
Someone
don't
chat
think
might correct me. I'm not sure, but I definitely didn't have that on hard.
Yeah, I've played on normal, but
Yeah.
I haven't really used the active sonar
Okay, yeah.
or
I think
anything
that's the
like.
one I mean
Yeah,
then.
yeah, it's probably that. But I did use the AP sensor. That is pretty useful. Like for every
I believe the active sonar does create noise though, so it makes it
yeah,
easier to spot because it
yeah,
goes.
for every advantage there is a disadvantage and vice versa.
Absolutely. But yeah, but you
You
can
can have a
also
cute
just
puppy, but sometimes she growls.
you can also go around and just fucking kill everybody. I guess there you have some dissonance there with the gameplay to some degree because they tell you in the beginning you are not supposed to be seen at all, not even cartridges, but you can pretty easily finish the game by just blasting everything to death and go through it that way.
Yeah,
But
You're
if you
not
want
seen
that,
if there's no witnesses.
after you, I think
yeah.
after you do hard or expert, you get European expert, which has been like the hardest one for Metal Gear
Oh
games.
yeah,
where
European Extreme.
European
That is
extreme.
something.
Yeah.
where you actually get a game over when you've been seen, which is I've never done that. That always sounded too extreme to me. I don't know. Maybe I'll do that. And well, I guess when you no, you I think you get the invisible camo after you do that. I don't know, but yeah, it's like the Dante
Yeah,
must die difficulty of Metal Gear Solid, where you die in one hit,
Yeah.
right? And this one is like
There was someone
Richie,
in the
you're
Forge
over.
Discord that they posted their end screen and it was like no kills, no life bars of damage taken. I was just like, fucking hell, just like casually knocked out a no hit run. Like I've been playing this game for like 20 years now, and I've never ever once been able to get through a Metal Gear game without taking damage from a boss. I just like I think that a lot of their damage is avoidable, but there's so many times where you will just get hit by things in these boss fights, and it's tough to avoid.
Yeah, like it is pretty tough to obtain the titles of Foxhound and Big Boss, and for those higher difficulties. Well, but yeah, they're there if you're up to the challenge. And European
Is it-
Extreme, like get caught only once, and yeah, it's game over.
It's interesting because, like, yeah, I would definitely, if I played on European Extreme, I would definitely have a hard time with this. But one of the things I did to prepare for this was I watched, you guys know GDQ, right? Games Done Quick.
Yeah,
They
the
speed
speedrunning.
run
Oh
games.
yeah, yep.
I watched a speed run of this. The guy played on European Extreme, and it's surprising how much you can cheese through this game because of the way the AI works and like this, for example, the wide hit boxes on enemies when you dive into them. Like if you roll into enemies, the hit boxes on them are quite wide, where you
Yeah.
don't even have to
see.
visibly collide with them, but you'll knock them down.
Yes, that's
And
my
like,
primary means of ending alert phases is running and just roll knocking out a bunch of guards and then hiding somewhere.
Yep.
yeah.
Just
So
be
there's like
sure
a lot
not
of
to make sure you're
situations
at
where you can
the
literally
lab.
just run through the whole thing and just dive through people. But like, but obviously, if you're not familiar with the whole speed running angle, you're incentivized to like take your time, crawl
Oh,
through
yeah,
the
yeah.
grass, and then when you
Mhm.
start playing the game as intended, then it's like enemies behave as you would typically expect, and
Yeah. I think
but it is
it's very much
surprisingly easy to circumvent that if you're a veteran player.
yeah. I mean, I think it's pretty much doable. European Extreme. I mean, if you know where the enemies are and you trank them, or just know where to crawl and not be seen, if you're familiar enough, I think it's probably not even that hard to do. I could imagine if you put the
It
time
doesn't
in,
even
of course.
involve hiding with the speedrunners. They
Oh, I know.
they literally just run and shoot through everything. Like they
Of
don't
course
even
they do.
hide. Yeah.
I don't
It's-
think I've ever gotten to the mountaintop area and not had an alert phase happen. I just like I can't do it. I will always get spotted by either the helicopter or something, and
Yeah.
have to end up
Did I get
running my
spotted
ass
last
off
night?
or shooting my way out of it.
Yeah.
Chad, did I
I
get
couldn't
spotted
do
on the
that. I would
mountaintop
suck.
last night? I forgot. I might have. It
The way the mechanics all work, I mean, because we're on mechanics right now. I mean, I've always been impressed by how this game handles it. Like the way the counter works, the different phases, the way the counter ticks down.
Yeah.
Like it'll go second by second, or sometimes it like if the game knows that like there's no threat, like it'll just immediately sort of tick down to 0, but the counter won't disappear immediately within the span of a frame. Like the counter will take the time to sort of
Go to 0.
tick down really rapidly, you know? And there's just like a smoothness to
It's
those
satisfying.
little details
It's
that I really
satisfying
appreciate.
to the eye. Yeah.
Yes.
Just doesn't
Yeah,
go
yeah.
away. But yeah, just to tie that back around to me saying, you would think we had the sneaking stuff figured out back in the day already, because now I will mention The Last of Us and fucking Star Wars Outlaws, which pretend like they have sneaking.
If only
which
there
I
was
guess
a
in the
video
very
analysis
basics,
of that game happening sometime soon.
which in a very true, yeah. Which in a very basic sense, I guess they do have sneaking, but it's fucked. It's just it's not very good. Especially Outlaws. Outlaws is hilariously bad. It's just tacked on like super basic. I mean, none of the finesse of this one. You can't really do anything interesting. I mean, all you have is like Nyx trying to steal things from someone that the game allows you to do, which is funny considering it's like this large open world where you could imagine it would be more of a sandbox where you can fuck around and find different kind of things to fuck around with. Oh god, I died on screen again. Oh, embarrassing.
No fail run over. Liar. You didn't no fail run.
No, I didn't. Well, this, like, from back, when did this come out? 2005, 2006 or something? Probably
2004.
4 even.
Yeah,
It's
that's
even
Well,
sounds
I
older.
mean,
right.
Subsistence was later, but this came out in 2000, pretty early, didn't it? I can't remember.
Well, it was
Yeah, the original
98
came out
for
in
Metal Gear
2004.
Solid 1, 2001 for Metal Gear Solid 2. So
Mhm.
yeah, I think 2004 makes some sense because
Yeah.
video
Yeah,
games
I think that's right.
didn't take 6 years to make back then.
Much
Right.
stronger stealth mechanics, like, it's not even close. You can make, like, all the noises and stuff. And while in Outlaws, you just go into a bush and suddenly you're invisible unless they're, like, right next to you. It's like, yeah. We lost something along the way with AAA slop. Well,
Yeah, Assassin's Creed in general has never had amazing, like, pure stealth gameplay. I think that the thing that made the Assassin's Creed games novel is the whole blend into the crowd aspect of the stealth that they just eventually, I think it was Assassin's Creed 3 that just kind of abandoned that. It was like, no, you're sneaking through trees now.
Yeah.
yeah. So this is
But
like,
you cannot crouch walk in Assassin's Creed 3.
come back. Connect faster.
Kin right now, so I
Okay,
think
okay, there we go.
All right, we're back. Back?
is
At least
like
my-
is our
the stream
the
should
same
also
episode
be
back or
yeah,
oh,
that should we
okay.
should be
back.
we should
Look
be
at that.
back. Yeah.
There you go. We don't have
Alright,
to make
great.
a part 2.
That wasn't actually the internet.
All right.
For some reason, my Ethernet adapter shat itself. Apparently, I just restarted it over Windows, and then it was fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know why.
Well,
though.
you have been having some computer issues lately, so
yeah, but it
there's
wasn't
that.
wasn't the internet thingy. I'm not.
I
gonna
mean,
build
if
it-
it's your Ethernet adapter though that crapped out and that you had to reset it within Windows, that could just be the computer, not internet.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I'm just. What I mean is it has nothing to do with the issues I had before, right?
I mean, maybe not, but I'm saying that like if your computer is going through some issues, maybe that's just a
Yeah.
new symptom of the same disease, you know.
Well, time to build a new one again.
Yeah. So put a Metal's new computer typical at the bottom.
It's interesting.
I'll do
'cause
my
I thought
dark
it-
side Phil impression for people. Come on, guys. We're in a lot of trouble right now, guys. It's
You guys
I
support
don't
the
know if I can keep
stream.
this stream
you wanna
going
support these
unless
positive
you
and meaningful content.
want to see
you gotta
Metal
support
wearing the
stream.
vest.
Fucking Kojima.
Well, we're back. Hello, hi. Where did we stop?
Ubisoft, Splinter Cell, Star
Right.
Wars Outlaws, and how did they? I don't know what the last thing the chat heard, but we're basically just wondering how Ubisoft can do so poorly with stealth when they made the game that honestly, like, funny enough, tying in specifically to Metal Gear Solid 3 and Subsistence, Splinter Cell is the game that made Kojima be like, hey, maybe actually having a controllable right stick camera would improve Metal Gear Solid 3. And so if I do a different edition of it, I should add that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And which, I mean, like, for all the people that say, hey, like, downloadable content destroyed gaming and stuff like that, I mean, we had to buy a whole new copy of Metal Gear Solid 3 to get the right stick camera control. So that would have been an
Also not
instance
great.
where if they, yeah, if it could have just been the update, that would have probably been better.
Yeah. And in the case with Ubisoft Star Wars Outlaws, they very much don't have like the same people behind Splinter Cell anymore to help work on it. And you have all these different studios that are just getting their hands on it.
I just don't think they have people behind that game. Metal really expects to be who
Yeah,
works in
and
IT. Hey man, I fixed it in like 20 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like to be fair, similar problem on my computer. I might have had to like join via my phone, just like using like AirPods as my mic. And
20
And
seconds so long. Shut up, Swab.
It felt like such a step backward in favor of like parkour bullshit.
Mhm.
It's like, look, parkour, look at this. Isn't this cool? And I'm just like, yeah, but we don't have the fucking, like, it felt like in Splinter Cell you could do so much more, and like it had this cool menu where, like, if you were as Sam Fisher in a position where, based on like where you're positioned and what items around you you can interact with, like you had like a context menu where you would hold A down, and then it would present you with a menu of like, here's all the things you can do once you let go of A, and then you select the one that you want and then let go. Like, it gave you a level of precision over what you do beat by beat that I thought was so cool. And then it felt like a bunch of that was just thrown out the window in favor of like the fancy parkour animation stuff. And then beyond that, it was just like, once you catch up with the target, you just kill them and then you win. And it just felt so boring in comparison.
Yeah. I mean,
well,
if
they
you-
had the idea that they were actually, I think, playing with for Splinter Cell Conviction as well, which was the stealth within a crowd. Like, the idea is not that you're not being seen, but that you're not being noticed in a group of people. And I think that Assassin's Creed over time stopped really caring about that and started just being like, okay, like, whatever, stealth mechanics and everything, it all doesn't matter. We're just going to make it third person Destiny with like loadouts and levels and things like that gate your progress. And that's absolutely when I was totally done on Assassin's Creed. I didn't like Unity. I thought the story in Unity was bad, but Origins, as much as like even the story in Origins isn't horrendous or anything like that, I didn't like it switching to that style of gameplay, and it really just lost all identity of being a stealth game in the first place once you started having like colored tiers for gear and like legendary enemies to fight. It's like, okay, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
And and they've clearly lost their touch with stealth, if Outlaws is any indication. Not that I've played Outlaws, but I've seen a lot of stuff of you guys playing it, and it doesn't seem like something I want to play.
And after Assassin's Creed had made some progress into their run of games, I think they came back to Splinter Cell in the form of Blacklist. And it was sort of this awkward blend of stealth and action.
Okay.
But I didn't mind it. I didn't think it was terrible.
Yeah, actually,
but
I thought Blacklist was quite good.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. I think I have a not as warm an opinion of it. But I preferred the older games for sure. Chaos Theory was definitely like that. That felt
Yeah,
like the
Chaos
peak
Theory was
to me.
apex.
Yeah.
Giving him the knife like that seemed like such a simple thing to do, but just having Sam Fisher be able to stab a guy, just it added a lot to that gameplay, because non-lethal or taking someone down with melee in Splinter Cell and Pandora Tomorrow, like the first two games, was so hard. You had to like elbow the guy 3 times, and it looked weird and strange, and it always seemed weird to me that there wasn't even just like a choke mechanic like in Metal Gear Solid that came out years before that. But in Blacklist, they were just like, well, what if we just give him a knife, and if you grab somebody, you can just stab them? And it's like, oh yeah, okay.
Right.
Yeah, and when you look back at Metal Gear, they started with those mechanics back in the first one on PlayStation 1.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
already there, you could knock on the wall, you can throw people in lockers and all that stuff. And they just kept all this and just put more stuff in it.
Lockers that was 2. There wasn't
Yeah.
lockers in the first game.
No?
The enemies
Oh.
just disappear when you take them out. You didn't have to
Ye-
worry about bodies.
What? Well, it was also in Twin Snakes that came out much later. So
Oh,
yeah,
maybe
they
then I was thinking
implemented
of that, but
MGS2's mechanics into MGS1's level layout and all.
I mean, the point still stands. They kept the knocking and them finding footsteps and stuff like that, and then they did more with 2, and now with 3, you could do like throw stuff around. You can hold them up, which they did in 2. Then the whole holding up and collecting dog tags and stuff like that. They just build on, and then in 3 they built this quasi semi open world, you could almost say, where you can go around and have a little sandbox in every one of these areas. You can try to push him down a ledge, or you can shoot the one guy and then someone else sees him. He's like, "Oh, what's up?" And then you kick that guy off the ledge, and I don't know, you hang from a ledge and wait for the other ones to go around you or past you. It's like all these things you can do with stealth while trying to not be seen, and then still have it like gamified and not too realistic with the camo index, right? Because if you have 90% camo, there's like instances where it's like they should see me for sure, but this says 90% up there, so they won't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
it all just comes together very nicely, and I this is why I really enjoy this game. You can do so many funny things if you want to, or just do like sneaking, like I'm doing there right now. Sneaky.
I think with going to Metal Gear 3, there was a really respectable jump in like how to execute this technically, because you're all of a sudden in a jungle environment now, right?
True, yeah.
Because
that's
the
true.
first 2 games were like in sort of blocky, more urban sort of military facilities, that like those sort of environments. But with a jungle, there's much more complexity that all of a sudden you have to introduce, right? And like uneven environments, and I think they had to redo their entire collision system
Mm.
to have like you know, to be able to navigate rocky terrain and hide behind trees and stuff, which you're dealing with a bunch of not non-organic organic objects, whereas in the previous episodes you're dealing with blocky non-organic
Architecture,
objects, which
yeah.
are very simple in terms of geometry. And so, like, not only is there complexity in the geometry now, but you've got to sort of make it feel like a jungle with like the density and sound design, things like that.
Mm.
Um, that that I think was hard to accomplish at the time on that hardware on PS2. Like, I mean, it's certainly doable. I mean, Kojima found a way to do it, but I don't think a lot of people were doing natural environments well in in the PS2 era. Certainly not to this degree. And there was I'm sure there's some jungle games I'm forgetting about in PS2 that probably did a really good job.
Mm.
But like it was just it's a very bold jump in terms of environment and technology, going from Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're also not scared to just let you wait, like I'm doing there right now. It's like, oh yeah, I missed his pathing to be better in my to use it to my advantage. So now I just have to wait for him to get back from the other side of the bridge, so I could knock him down here and put him in the bushes or something, and then go over. Like they just
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I fucked this up. Now I just have to sit here for 2 minutes. Just have to be a bit patient. It's just
Yeah, and I think that's one of the ways that they help justify the healing system be how it is. That it doesn't work as well in boss fights, but making it so that you can't just heal. Like you do need to take time to recover your health, and having it be so that if you got spotted and then needed to run away and maybe took a few bullets and needed to then use some medical supplies to heal your wounds so that your max health isn't capped, you're encouraged to wait until the alert phase is ended, and that's letting you be like, okay, yeah, but also if you wait, you are healing, so that's why you shouldn't be too upset about this.
Yeah.
And then you have CQC right here, where you're knocking the guard out. Like the instantaneous CQC slam can be like a bit of a bitch to pull off, but like once you get it right, like you just hold the CQC button like at just the right moment and press downward with the
I
stick
think just in a
slightly.
general
I think
direction.
yeah, if you hold it while you're running, it does it automatically.
Yeah, like yeah, when you get it right, it just feels so satisfying. Like that sound effect, that impact, just like slam,
Yeah.
Yeah.
go on and slam.
I actually had to relearn how to do the grabbing properly. I think I skipped over it while I just went to another place that fits better for the conversation. But I was like, okay, now yeah, just hit the button and grab him, and you just slice his throat immediately. It's like that's not what I want to do. And it's like I think it's if you have the gun out and the knife and you hold it too long, he just does that. You just have to mash it immediately or something.
Yeah, initially on PS2 it was actually the pressure sensitive
Mhm.
buttons, like where if you held it firmly, he would do the kill, whereas if you held it softly, he would just have the guy in the
Yeah,
chokehold.
I think that the PC emulator doesn't really translate it, even though I was doing a PlayStation 5 controller, which I assume still has that, right?
I actually don't think they do for
Oh.
the face buttons. I think PS2 is kind of famously the only one that did. So there are a few PS2 emulated games that don't function super well in that regard if they had pressure sensitive controls. Triggers are still pressure sensitive on pretty much everything, I think, except for Switch. I don't think Switch is like the only system where it's not analog triggers, it's just digital.
Okay.
But
That's interesting because if other platforms, if you don't have the pressure sensitive face buttons, that is actually an obstacle. Because like it is so useful having the sensitivity in like the original PS2 version.
Well,
Where
even things like
you
if
can
you have
draw
your gun up,
and
yeah.
if you decide that you don't want to fire a shot, you can then lower your gun back down without firing one. But if there's no pressure sensitivity, then it's just like if you draw your gun, that's it. You have to fire a shot, and then you
I
might
believe
alert somebody.
I believe their controls were altered for a lot of those things for the HD collection because it was on both PS3 and Xbox, and I believe neither of those had the pressure sensitive buttons, so they had to figure some other stuff out for it.
Oh, so there's probably some workaround where like there's a button you can tap to bring yourself out of first person entirely, and then that will sort of cancel out
just
the fact that you have your weapon drawn.
You can just
something like
unequip
that.
the weapon that works too.
Yeah, that's what I did almost every time. That's pretty much how I reload in the game too. It's one of the reasons why I hate that you can't customize the gamepad controls in Delta because your equip and unequip are on the D-pad, which is much harder to do than just tapping R1.
Oh, you're playing on controller still with Delta?
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
doing
I mean,
mouse and keyboard.
It says at the beginning of the game, like, better played with a controller, and I kind of figured that some of the things like the sneaking and stuff like that would be a little bit easier with an analog stick to control.
I don't want to talk too much about it, but
for these games.
It works really well with mouse and keyboard. I'm very happy.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm planning to do another playthrough before next week when, hey, everybody, if you want to hear us talk about Delta in more depth, that is next week's episode. But yeah, I think probably after this stream, I'll fire up my mouse keyboard playthrough and maybe check out like some of the legacy stuff. And I don't know, I have a completed save file now, so maybe I'll mess around with some extra items and whatnot.
Sorry, I think
you get a lot of extra stuff when capturing the Tsuchinoko, that mystical serpent that you find in the jungle.
Nice.
I don't believe I found it.
I need to.
Oh yeah, it's
the only mystical serpent in that game is me, Solid Snake or Naked Snake.
Enter 3 months in the boss fight. At the boss fight.
The best place to find the Tsuchinoko would be like after you face the fear and you know, like you go into like a transitionary area from a facility to the forest where you encounter the end, and you lay out a few mouse traps. You leave the area, then you come back and hope that you find the right animal until you get the Tsuchinoko. And at no point are you permitted to eat it. You have to, keep it throughout the entire run. and like after your equipment, it gets taken away right after you get captured. The Tsuchinoko is at the waterfall where you rendezvous with Eva, and after that, like after you get your equipment back, you just go back through the waterfall and you recapture it.
Perhaps I will give that a shot on this second run.
I don't think
I know I can get
done
through
that.
the game in a couple days because, especially having like played Delta after just having finished I guess not the original, the HD version. I immediately knew where exactly to go and didn't have to think at all on any of the boss fights. Like none of the memories really took a long time to come back because I had just done it, which is why I did a nearly no kill run, except for that one guy.
I'll give you one spoiler for next week. The boss fights with mouse and keyboard are piss easy so far.
Yeah. Well, even playing on controller, I do have like I guess software enabled because it's not in game for some reason, but I do have gyro aim control, so I kind of aim with the sticks and then fine tune it with the gyro, so works quite well.
Delicious gyro.
I think a lot of the boss fights hinge on like being able to like quickly pull out your gun and aim and like shoot, tranquilizer darts or lethal rounds. So if you have all of a sudden it's originally designed for PS2 thumbsticks. And so it's like it's built to give you time to like sort of take aim and get a few shots in. But then as soon as you have a mouse, it's just like you just fucking aim at them immediately and just go to town and pump a bunch of rounds on them.
Oh yeah.
Like that probably I imagine that would make it a lot easier. Yeah, I haven't played. Well, actually, I did play it on PC briefly, but I only with a controller. But now that you mention it, it would probably be much easier with a mouse. Yeah.
They did some things with the Hush Puppy to account for that a little bit, but I think it's not enough. I think, but
the bullet drop or dart drop.
We'll talk about it next week. I don't want to get into.
Yeah, that's another thing. So we're gonna have a full other episode on Metal Gear Solid 3, but talking about the remake and remake stuff.
Yeah, to be clear, I was talking about the original on PC. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah.
The thumbstick controls. I was actually pleasantly surprised by it because it actually works pretty well. I mean, I normally cringe when I have to go and play shooting stuff on controller because I absolutely fucking hate it these days. I keep saying it. I don't know how I did it back then. I was actually kind of decent at it. When I do it now, it feels so wrong to me. I don't know, it's so ugh. But no, it works pretty well here. You have to kind of figure out which thumb does what. Like, I think the left one goes faster if you don't aim, and the right one is slower while you aim or something like that. So they account for you being faster and slower, and I definitely had to get used to some things. Like if you want to do Volgan non-lethally, you can knock him down and then quickly look down and quick scope him basically with the Mosin Nagant.
Yeah. The Mosin Nagant actually I didn't use. I just always use the Mark 22 on him to do non-lethal. Just wait till he's not electric, CQC him down to the ground, and then
Yep.
Yeah, I did that with the Mosin Nagant.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Call of Duty.
You're also trying to trank the boss, like really just be careful because like when you try to CQC her while you have a weapon equipped, she'll dismantle it, and you're required to retrieve your ammo and weapon like through the.
Yeah, so I guess there's a little tip. When the boss is running at you, don't have a weapon equipped, and then just pay attention to when you get the Metal Gear Solid exclamation point above your head, and if you CQC at that moment, you'll counter her attack and then knock her to the ground. She's actually.
Yeah, it's a pain.
And I'm talking about original. That does not happen in Delta.
Okay.
Delta actually I found her much more difficult.
I was talking about the original. CQC. I didn't have I don't have a exclamation mark. Maybe that's a thing that doesn't happen on hard. I had to go by the impact of our fists, basically.
Huh. Well.
Unless I was completely brain dead, but I feel like someone in the chat would have probably pointed that out to me if I...
Yeah, like even if you mistimed her animations and how she hits you, yeah, she'll dismantle your weapon and just throw away it like on the ground, like. And the ground is covered in all these flowers, and yeah, it's kind of hard to find it and get it all
Thermal
back.
scope, thermal vision is the way to do it
I see.
to retrieve
Yeah.
your shit quick. I've been CQC'd by the boss many a time, trust me.
I mean, I mostly don't have a weapon equipped anyway. Like because I also quick scope her for the most part, because I waited for her to attack me and then just knock her down. Got the timing right, and I'm still pretty sure the timing becomes different in her quote unquote second phase, or when the music starts or whatever, because the same timing did not work, and I still couldn't really figure out what the exact timing was. It's very precise. That's what
I think it's also that she moves faster during that phase
probably
too.
Yeah. And then otherwise just Mosin Nagant her in the face when she's not looking.
Right.
I mean, at that point I had like 90% camo with like the snow one. Almost 90. The funny thing is, the best combo you have with the scientist outfit, but you can't shoot while you have that.
Yeah.
I love how you're basically, playing Clark Kent with the scientist disguise. Like, even without the Raiden mask, like the soldiers just don't recognize you as an intruder. The scientists, for whatever reason, they do recognize you because they don't see you around normally.
Well, yeah, I think that it's the soldiers don't recognize you because they don't really know the scientist personally, whereas the scientists will be like, wait, no, you're not one of the guys who, like, I've never seen you at a staff meeting.
Yep.
Also, I don't know if this happens in the OG as well, about even the little card he has on his chest with the scientist outfit has a picture of him with the with the headband on as well. Like, that's how they took the headshot. It's really funny. The thing that drove me a little bit nuts in the boss end fight is that the camera gets like weirdly tilted when you get too close to the ledge, to the edge of the arena. It's really annoying because you have to keep the camera in a way looking at her so you don't miss where she goes, because for some reason they make it go up a little bit so it looks more to the ground. And you can't switch it with the stick. I found that a bit annoying. I don't know if that's like, it's probably intended for some reason, but I just found it annoying because you can just use the stick to make it normal, but it snaps right back if you let go. So I don't know, it's just weird. It's just fucking weird.
Yeah, I remember you having less camera control in that fight than normal. But now like again, because I just played that fight in Delta, like I'm kind of mixing up which one is which.
Well, I haven't done
like
that
play
one
through
in
in my
Delta
head.
yet, so I'm
well, I mean, like for me, because I've just like some of the things I don't want to like recall and be like, oh yeah, there's this element to that one. And I was like, wait, which playthrough was that? And I did this boss fight in 2 different versions within the span of this last week.
Absolutely. But yeah, was pretty happy with the clown stick controls. They were pretty good, pretty well executed, and even for me, who hates using them these days, just it worked pretty well. Just had to get used to it a little bit to do what I want. What that was. Alrighty.
I think Kojima is good at adapting to whatever he's like creating a game for. You know, like he wants to. If he's like, okay, I'm making a console game, so this has got to feel good with a controller. This has got to be playable, beatable with a controller. I want the player to feel in control and feel like they can, you know, like design the game with the appropriate amount of like, you know, you have enough time to sort of settle your aim on an enemy and get enough shots in and stuff like that. Like, it's just designed for a controller. And I think he would take the care to make it all feel good.
And it does. I'm trying to think what my favorite character of the whole crazy bunch is. I'm kind of I kind of warmed up to the Goober Ocelot in this game. I think he's so fucking funny with his stupid fucking hand gestures all the time.
His meow. He meows. The Ocelot call.
He fucking calls in his Spetsnaz just to tell him, go away, this is a one-on-one. just to show off or something. and constantly getting schooled by Snake is like, oh, nice gun. Probably not the best for you. And then the next time he's around, he has like this fancy revolver. It's like,
Yeah.
that's a nice gun, but probably not great for shooting.
The engravings provide no
Yeah.
tactical advantage whatsoever.
None whatsoever. Yeah.
I love how that gets carried over to MGSV as well when Ocelot is training the Diamond Dogs.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
Kind of remember that.
Mhm.
Kind of. Again, I need to replay
That's
those.
an automatic.
But yeah, I think
Don't
he's.
bother damping the recoil. Do that with a revolt.
I
Engraving.
mean, the character animation and hand gestures is one thing, but then it's all like exemplified with the camera. Like there's
Yeah.
field of view effects, there's slow motion, where it's
Yep.
just like, yeah, it's pretty
I
exaggerated.
he
and
cracks me
funny.
up every time he's on screen. Just
Yeah.
just the hand gestures. Even when he's looking at like the other one, this is like doing like, where have you been, woman? like this just
He grabs her boob.
yeah.
Almost every time he interacts with Eva, he just grabs
There's-
her tits.
There's a
Dude,
lot of
like-
boob grabbing in this game. I noticed. Yeah.
Well, what I think is funny is even Volgan like says like, "Oh, you're taking a liking to her." He's like, "No, I have no interest in this woman." I like he makes it very clear. It's like, "No, I'm doing that because I'm fairly certain that this is a spy."
Yeah.
And
I hold someone.
I'm grabbing
right.
her boob.
I've held someone
specifically
up who had a boob also, so I'm gonna.
also fake boobs, which you can find out if you look at Eva's medical information and like,
Oh, right,
and,
right.
like when you're able to heal her, like if you go through her medical history, one of the first things on there is breast enhancement.
That's fun. I didn't know that. That's hilarious. Oh, Volgan's ball grab. Oh yeah, it's so fucking funny. That's how Snake gets figured out. That's not the dick I'm used to.
It's like,
Yeah,
back off, Hank.
Volgan is a sadistic bisexual man,
Oh,
at least as far as the way they portray him in the game.
What did Kojima mean by this?
Yeah, I mean,
and they did the same thing again with one of the secret movies, Metal Gear Raiden, Snake Eraser. That is a funny movie.
I don't think I've seen that.
Never heard of that.
it's hilarious. It's Metal Gear Raiden Snake Eraser is when he's trying to kill Big Boss so that he could take the main character
Mhm.
chair instead of Solid Snake, so that he could be like the head of the series. But yeah, he keeps failing miserably throughout each scene in Metal Gear Solid 3. It's priceless.
Is
And
this
you
like
have-
a YouTube video or is this something Kojima made?
Apparently, it's a secret
Oh,
theater
no,
extra.
yeah,
Someone in the
yeah.
chat says.
Oh, huh,
yeah,
neat.
the secret theater extra. It's
Oh, I got
hilarious.
something to
There-
watch.
there's a lot of good shit in the secret theater. There's a lot of funny
Yeah, I think
stuff.
the Ivan Raidenovich Rykov is a character that's sort of, I guess, Kojima winking at all the people who really didn't like Raiden in
Yeah, yeah.
Metal Gear Solid 2, which is why I actually love his introduction in Metal Gear Solid 4 because it's like the most badass scene ever. Like,
Absolutely.
because you don't see him, you hear him over the codec a couple times in Metal Gear Solid 4 before you see him. But when Raiden is actually revealed and you find out that like in the time between 2 and 4, he has been like turned into a full-blown cyborg ninja.
Mhm.
He just has the most badass anime action scene where it's him fighting like 10 Metal Gears.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh yeah, remember the guy you hated playing as? Want to play as him now?
Mhm.
Right.
Well,
What if we gave Platinum,
True.
gave him to Platinum Games? What about then?
Yeah,
man, I really wish that
Raiden's redemption is it's quite the story.
yeah, they should really, revisit that concept of the in-between story between MGS2 and 4.
Mm.
And yeah, just have the complete story for Raiden.
Well, I mean, with Platinum now doing like co-development on Ninja Gaiden 4, and they did develop the Doc Savage thing for Konami for Delta. It's I think they'd be
Yeah.
crazy not to be like, hey, look, can we do a Revengeance 2 or Metal Gear Rising, some other subtitle that's like
Yeah.
I don't know, funny combination of words.
Yeah, Delta also has secret theaters. Like they made 3 new shorts for it, and one of them was Gran and Rising. Gran and Rising is so silly too. Like he takes the place of Volgan in the scene where he finds out about Snake not being Rykov. Like it's Granon's corpse just beamed the shit out of Sokolov, and he's just repeating his dialogue with Naked Snake over and over again. It's so silly.
It's funny.
And yeah, he's using Volgan's electricity powers. It's
Well, I guess we've got some secret theater things to watch before next week.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I'm already at the mountaintop. Probably next stream I'll probably finish up, or at most 2 streams. But I do want to play some more extra stuff. I want to check out the monkey feet stuff. Ape Escape, I think it's called, right?
Yeah.
yep.
Because I never
Snake
actually played that in any
yeah.
of the versions, and I always thought it was pretty fun.
I believe it was not in Subsistence or the HD collection because that was a rights issue with Sony because they were releasing it on Xbox as well.
Mm-hmm.
Fun fact, Raiden in 2 is the way he is because Kojima hates you. Then he was like, maybe Raiden is cool. With Ninja Gaiden 4 does well, Revengeance 2 is much more likely, which looks good. Yes, give it to me.
Well, I mean, I think that like if Konami were to make a new Metal Gear game, a sequel to Metal Gear Rising would be the safest bet because it was never a Kojima game, Rising. Like, so it's like, well, this isn't one where you need Hideo Kojima. You kind of just need Platinum, and like Platinum, as much as like most of the big names behind Platinum, Shinji Mikami and Hideki Kamiya are not there. If Ninja Gaiden 4 does well, then clearly they've still got people who can make like a fast-paced action game, and people have been wanting a sequel to Metal Gear Rising for a decade now. So it's an easy win, and one that I don't think will piss off the Metal Gear purists nearly as much as making, say, Metal Gear Solid 6 might. But God, just whatever you do, Konami, just like work on optimization. Okay, like we'll get into that next week, but like you really need to not have games run poorly if you're trying to revive these franchises.
That would be great, yeah. What if we did a game playing boss in World War II? That would be cool as fuck. I'd be down with that.
I mean, yeah, that's a lot of people have wanted that for. I think actually they were talking about making that for a little while, like a Cobra unit game.
Yeah, have it play as the boss.
Oh, and then like all of the Cobras too, like the Sorrow, the Fury, the Fear. Give birth to Ocelot on the beaches in Normandy. Okay, could be fun.
Yeah,
So it's actually maybe Kojima started the whole like pregnant woman in a war thing.
Yeah, like aside from that whole exposition near the end with the boss giving out her backstory, like there is never like any clear indication that Ocelot was the boss and the Sorrow's son.
Why do I feel like I've always known that though? Like there must have been something that clearly demonstrated it. Like I don't think that's something I read on the internet recently. Like that's something that I feel like I've known since the game came out.
Yeah.
Is it like I mean, did they say that like did they say that his name was Adam?
Yeah. Yeah, Ocelot is Adam.
But like, I mean, I think that does the boss say that her son was I don't know. I forget what the reference was, but I feel like I have always known that the boss and the Sorrow are Ocelot's parents.
Well, Adam's like a code name, isn't it? That's why it's in all caps.
Adam's
whenever you
Adamska is his like real name though.
Oh yeah, you're right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Fine, you win this one.
Yeah, you got me there.
You got me there, piece of shit. Yeah, it's fun stuff. Oh, what do you guys think about the cure system? I've been trying to think about it, if I like it or not. I'm kind of neutral on it. Like it's neat idea, but it's especially in the OG one, it's just menuing and it's not really that much fun. Especially if a couple of wounds and it's like
Oh yeah, the cure system.
I think it's mostly like a resource management thing, but I think that the trick with it is that your healing supplies never to me seemed that hard to come by. So like I never really feel like I didn't have a thing that I needed to heal.
Well, on hard, when you have to cure Eva there, Paramedic says, you're kind of low on resources, and open my menu, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. It's like, I'm not,
I mean,
I'm
even
not low
yeah,
on
she even
anything.
says
Yeah, you
that
have
on
more
normal
than enough
mode. That's like
resources.
you've got to be the priority. Like so, if you don't have enough to heal both of you, it's got to be you, not her.
Oh,
But
I
like,
know.
Yeah,
never
it's
in
just
any
to get to
playthrough
that
I've ever had of
storytelling
the
beat.
game. Yeah,
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've just never been low on healing resources, and I think that honestly I could just see them maybe thinking that doing the steps in order, or like at least a logical order, might have been a way to make it so that you can accidentally waste resources unnecessarily. But because you just have to do the things, like and especially I mean, again, we'll talk about Delta, but Delta actually tells you the things that you need to do. It doesn't just let you guess what might I need to be using to heal this injury.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think that it's more so than the camo system. I think the healing system is, or the heal wound system is a bit half cooked.
Mm.
Yeah, it's and and the most common criticism is that it pretty much just breaks the pace of you just going from gameplay to menus to feed yourself to retain your stamina and just heal your wounds.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, and
it
yeah,
fits
it
with the
breaks the
whole
pace.
like jungle survival angle of the whole
That's
game.
true, yeah, for sure.
But when you have like when Mark was saying, when you have like because I found the same thing where you just have plenty of everything. It all just boils down to a bunch of extra button pushing, and
mhm.
that's just it just feels like kind of an obstacle at that point.
Mm.
And maybe the intention was that if like you're in a battle, it doesn't want you to be pausing and like I mean actually I think they probably could have made it a bit better if you were not able to just pause the world in order to do it.
Mhm.
Like if you had to do it with the game still going, then you'd be less likely to in the middle of battle just pause and start going into menu healing stuff. Whereas the way it is now, it kind of feels like if you're in the middle of a boss fight and like say the Fury burns you, you feel like you do have to then stop the fight and heal that burn. Otherwise, like you're going to limit the amount of health that you can recover. And yeah, I've never really been crazy about that, despite my real life job being something where well, I mean, ideally I'm not doing that stuff to myself, but you know, it's I've yet to play a game where a good like medical care system has been implemented, because usually the ones where they even try that, like aside from more menu based stuff like Metal Gear, like Surgeon Simulator and stuff, it's like well just more like physics based funny game as opposed to like let's actually try to figure out how to heal a person. Which is why Cyberpunk 2077 developers or modders, if you want help making a trauma team game, let me know because I've got some ideas.
Mhm.
Well. What else do we have? We got pretty much everything I had like vaguely on my list here to talk about. Thing is, every time I think of something, I want to compare it to the to the new one, but we're not there yet. That's next week, and I haven't finished that game yet.
Yeah, I mean, we maybe could have done this as one episode, and just I guess in the planning process, it kind of seemed like maybe because these games are short enough that we could very easily do a playthrough of one and then the playthrough of the other. I figured that doing an episode on the original and an episode on the remake might be the call, but yeah.
I guess the
Well,
soundtrack of this game is pretty baller.
yeah.
And not
Yeah.
only the Snake Eater song, which is obviously the goat, but
Yeah, very
just
James Bond.
yeah, it's really nice. Just in the fights as well. I think the Fury fight had like a really good soundtrack that fit very well. I'm actually not a fan of them playing a version of Snake Eater in the boss fight. I feel like this should have been quiet all the way through.
Yeah, like for her second phase.
Yeah, especially I think it's a bit counterproductive because you want to hear when she starts running towards you, and having the music going doesn't really help. Like you can still
Indeed,
hear it,
yeah.
but I kind of want to hear it fully. And obviously,
Yeah.
we get the meme.
I
of
always
the
think
ladder,
of it
right?
as like
Get the ladder meme in
I
this
always
game.
think of it as the climactic battle where, say an certain theme in an anime plays
Yeah.
as, we're reaching the climax. It's kind of like that.
It's one of my favorite things Harry Gregson Williams has done in his career, like the Metal Gear theme. And then
Yeah.
there's like the main sort of Snake Eater theme, which is sort of a different James Bond inspired type thing, which I really like.
Yeah, even
And
with
then the
with the
general,
visuals too. It's just like, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
full
very
opening
much
credit sequence.
yeah.
yes. And then the use of music through standard gameplay and combat, where like you have music tied to the alert phase and the caution phase. It all achieves a certain mood for each stage that I think is really appropriate. You know, the caution puts you in the right mood. The caution music,
Yeah,
the
it's
alert
very
music
intense.
puts you in the right mood. Yeah, yeah.
It's
And then when you don't have a status, it's just the ambience of the jungle. There's no music, which I think is really cool.
yeah, I like it a
Yeah.
lot. God, I really
I think
like this
that
game.
that too was one of the big decisions that was made for Metal Gear Solid 1 because obviously with all the voice acting and stuff like that, they could have actually done properly recorded or orchestral music for Metal Gear Solid 1. They didn't have to use MIDI, but the reason they chose to use MIDI for the first game instead of having like uncompressed just wave files playing is so the music could be dynamically evolved depending on what was going on and what the player was doing, and that it was much more difficult to do that as separate tracks more than to just add layers to an ongoing one, which was apparently something that was easier to achieve with a MIDI soundtrack.
Right.
Interesting, yeah. Trying to think of anything right now that I meant to bring up, but I forgot it along the way. But I mean, overall, I just really like this game. It's just, like just it held up incredibly fucking well. Like I've played this like as I said like probably 10, 12 years ago, multiple times, and then I haven't touched it up until now. And I was like, man, this is as much fun, if not even more fun than I remember from back in the day. Like I do remember now why I played this like 2 or 3 times when I had this in my hands. It's such a great blend of cinematic, serious stuff, campiness, and insanity that it just makes for such an enjoyable package of craziness and gameplay. I just really fucking enjoy this game. I think it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's well placed on the top 100 PS2 games. And I mean that depending on the console library, like top 100 may or may not be impressive, but certainly with the PS2 library, I mean, I think PS2 gave the library for that console is like at least 1,200 or something.
That's so many games.
Yeah,
So, like,
there's a lot of PS2 games. They kept making them till like well into the PS3 360 generation too.
Yeah, but
I
then you
was
have like a
attacking that.
console like N64 where I think there's like 200 something games for that, I think in total. So like a top 100 isn't going to be as impressive, but for this, it's like that's a big deal if you make the top 100 list, and I think Snake Eater is even at the top of that.
Yeah,
It's not just
I'd
about being in it.
probably say like Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, I think for me and for PS2 games are like top 10, probably both of them. Which I mean, and especially that's the trick with lists too, because I often don't want to make a like top few of a list be like 3 different games in the same series. But I think that what's interesting about Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 in particular is they're both very, very good for different reasons, despite being similarly structured games in the same series. They they're doing a lot of different things with just their philosophy and their subtext and all that stuff that's going on. But also they don't really play anything alike either, despite having like the same basic core of like, yeah, you crawl around, you walk around, you don't want to be seen, and you can aim and shoot in first person. Like that's the core of both of them. But you wouldn't be confused that you were playing Metal Gear Solid 2 while you're playing Metal Gear Solid 3, even if you're in an environment that might look similar at one point, which doesn't happen often. But yeah, like say if you were playing as a Raiden model in Groznygrad and using the Metal Gear Solid 3 gameplay, you wouldn't be thinking, okay, this is Metal Gear Solid 2 I'm playing right now. Because
Yeah.
just the things you can do feel a lot different.
Yeah. It also
Yeah.
has like this great DNA from back in the day. It's like, okay, I just played a really cool game, and it's like, oh shit, look, there's like all these unlockables I can do, all these challenges. I didn't check if the OG had like this list of things you could do and get rewards from. I know they have this in Delta, where you can actually see what challenges you can do and what rewards you get in certain types. Maybe
Yeah,
someone.
PS2 days, a lot of those things were hidden. It was just there's stuff that you
Yeah,
had to be
that's what I
told by
thought.
other people or read in a guide. And I think the idea of a shorter game that's really good with replay value in the form of like things that you can actually unlock that will then change your experience for another playthrough is something that I think maybe going back to might not be a bad idea, especially
Yeah.
with the big excuse of like, oh, game budgets are ballooning like crazy. Whereas if you have a game where the only reason to play it is the story that you go through, and once you know the story, that's kind of that. It's much more difficult to make that value argument, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they can do all these fun things, and you can unlock an completely invisibility cloak and just run through the game if you want to. I think if you finish the game on expert, you get the easy gun that you only get on very easy normally. You can use that in like your other playthroughs. I think it's like an unlimited trank gun or something. I can't remember. And you get the boss's Patriot weapon at the end of the game with unlimited ammo,
Yep.
right? You can just go around and just
Yeah,
shoot everything
I
to
believe
bits.
you always get that. I
Yeah,
don't think I've
yeah.
ever not gotten the Patriot.
Right.
And so it's just, I just like these games where you can just collect things and replay and maybe just try things out. It's like, hey, what if I just throw this at someone and then things happen differently? Like in the bridge section at the beginning, if you shoot the beehive and you do it at the right time, the guy just gets chased off by bees, and in turn he gets the other two in the back, and they just leave the area for a bit. It's just super fun. There's like so many things like this in here. Like going through the water here, there's like leeches that latch onto you, which is just, it's a non-issue. You just go into the cure menu and get rid of it. It's just
Cigar them off. You
cigar
burn them off with a cigar.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's
But
a
that
mild annoyance. It's just fun that they would think of stuff like that. It's just charming.
because of the way the original game is structured, in that you have these small segments of forest and building interiors and stuff that are separated by fades to black. I think they're treated as separate instances, and they're all very like curated moments and interactions with enemies. And then there are things like that, yeah, where it's just like, okay, there's one enemy here, there's a beehive, there's two enemies up ahead. Like, there's nothing like random about it. It's just like, these are the enemies of space, and these are the objects that you can interact with to sort of mix that up, to to sort of affect the interaction that you have with the enemies. And it's like, here's what you can do, and if you do this, it'll sometimes create this ripple effect where it affects other enemies. That's actually something I'm quite because I don't know the answer to this, but I'm curious if Metal Gear Solid Delta did away with the fade to blacks, where it just made it all seamless.
No,
Not to
it
move
does
on to
still.
Delta, but just is that something that they did?
It still
Was get rid of
cuts
all that?
to it still does the little like load scene
Transition, yeah.
transition thing, which
Mm-hmm.
might have
Okay.
helped the stuttering possibly.
Yeah.
So it keeps it all segmented, sort of curated areas, which I actually like in a way. I
Mhm.
was curious what direction they would go in that regard. Like if they're doing a remaster, maybe they might go the direction of just making it all seamless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
No,
alert
they kept
phases
the
are carried over
sections.
between, but that happened in the original game as well. But for the most
Yeah.
part, each area is its own little stealth puzzle,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
as
it
opposed to
doesn't
just
feel
like,
like
oh, here's the world.
all the areas, it doesn't feel like it's just a space and then it just chucks a bunch of enemies in and then it's just like, find your way around them, fuck you. Like
Yeah.
it feels like a little event where it's like, okay, these enemies are in these very specific positions and there are these items you can interact with to sort of affect them in a way to your advantage.
Yes,
It all
the
feels like all
sandbox
carefully
is
considered.
Yeah, maybe throw
the
poison frog at
sandbox
their
is
face,
specific.
or a
Yeah.
scorpion, and then they get poked, and then they get poisoned, and then they run away, or I don't know, shit themselves or something. I don't know. It can all happen. Yeah, it's
No,
yeah,
Metal
it's-
Gear is not beyond poop jokes.
No. P
Yeah,
also.
they run that to the ground, really. Like, you have Sokolov pissing himself, and at one point when you're interrogated, Volgan made Naked Snake piss himself.
Yeah.
through
It's steamy
electrocution,
too. It's like
damn.
steamy piss every time.
Yeah.
They make sure it's steamy.
Oh, that's very warm. Oh,
I think that touches also on Kojima's ability to think outside the box and fuck with you as like a player who's accustomed to the way video games work. You know, like
yeah.
because often does torture scenes, right?
hmm
And in
Mhm.
this, it's like when Volgan is beating the shit out of you, your health is steadily going down with every like impact he is making.
Yeah.
It's all like on a black screen. You don't see it, but you can hear it happening.
And if you're
And
used
it's just
Yeah.
like
to, if you know Metal
He
Gear
also
Solid
absorbs
1,
your-
you know you have this button mashing game with it, and you're like, shit, do I need to do something here? And I was like, no, this is just
Yeah.
they're just kind of fucking with you with the health bar.
Yeah.
I mean, in
Volgan
Metal Gear
absorbs-
Solid 1, no, that changes the ending.
Basically, yeah. But yeah,
Like-
as I was saying, like, Volgan observes your body. Like, if you don't have like any wounds like at all throughout your journey up to that point, he does compliment like, hey, you got like smooth skin like a newborn baby.
Oh,
Or
okay, that's
wait,
fun.
when you or if you get retrieved wounds, and you cured them, he'll comment like saying, "Oh, you've seen your fair share of battles."
Mm. That's fun.
Yeah.
In
I love
in
shit
Metal
like
Gear
this.
Solid in Metal Gear Solid 1 though, the torture minigame is what decides your ending because you can submit to the torture and just end it, and then Meryl dies and you escape with Otacon at the end of the game. But
Mhm.
if you
Mhm.
tap circle enough times and are manage to resist the torture without dying, like without getting a game over screen, then you escape the base with Meryl, and Ocelot
Mhm.
presumably escapes. Otacon, but
Yep.
we don't actually see how he gets out of there.
I completely forgot about that. The last couple of times that when I played that game, I just always got the tapping done. So I completely forgot that's a thing that changes. Yeah, it's a good reminder.
Yeah, it
He's
did
very
touch
good
upon
at
that
toying
analysis.
with. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
I did touch upon that in my MGS1 analysis. That
Mhm.
the torture scene is, it's monumental in the ending you get.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
It-
you were saying.
Kojima is very good at toying with gaming conventions,
Hmm.
and like normally in a torture scene, you would expect it to be a cutscene, but he finds a way to make things sort of interactive at least. And in this game, you see your health steadily going down, like it's a black screen,
Yeah.
but you can see your health bar, and then your health is going down, and it kind of makes you panic as a player. Like a little bit, where it's just like, am I supposed to do something to like not make my health go down? If I just leave this, am I gonna get a game over and I have to restart? Right? It keeps you on your toes, right? And
Absolutely.
and then in Metal Gear 1 did the button mashing thing. That was cool. And then like there's other instances in this game where it toys with the idea of not just the game over screen, but like fundamentally the idea of a game over, right? Like if
Mhm.
you see that, you think like, oh well, that's it. Like I gotta reset or start over, whatever.
The sorrow fight,
But
yeah. That's actually a thing I
yeah,
had to Google back in the day. I was like, what the fuck do I need to do? What do you want from me, Gabe? I've been doing this for 15 times. Like what do you want from me? It's like, oh, the fucking revival pill, of course. Because it's
right.
in the game over screen, you don't think to click the fucking R2 button to check out your items. It's like, oh yeah.
Yeah,
I thought
so
it was pretty awesome.
very deliberately he makes that mechanic available during the game over screen where you can access your left trigger and right trigger items.
Swollen
And
chat
you
just said,
never
if I
see
knew
that
the
in other
sorrow
video
thing, I would
games.
have beaten the game.
Yeah. And the only hint that that's what you have to do there is like when you get a game over previously, you might like accidentally tap left or right trigger and realize, oh, I can still access items while I'm in this screen. That's weird. And then you might put in two and two together where you realize, oh, well, I have the revival pill, like the revival tooth thing.
Yeah.
So maybe when I have a game over, what if I use this? And then that is indicated visually too immediately, like because like when you have a game over and you scroll through your items, a bunch of items will have like the red cross through it where it's just like you can't use this. But then if you hover over the tooth, like it doesn't have that. So it's just like, can I use this right now? And then you can, and it's just like, oh, so a game over isn't really necessarily a game over in this game.
Yeah.
That it's just letting you know basically Snake is in a way dead, but you can revive him. That's such a cool way of toying with fundamentally with the idea of a game over that
Also
I've never
fun
seen in other games before.
Also, the sorrow fight's fun in general. If you do non-lethal, it's a very short fight, quote-unquote fight, because all the people you killed in the game, they just walk towards you and you have to dodge them until you get to the end of that place. If you do non-lethal, it's only the bosses and that's it. So
Right.
it's just a fun thing as well. Again.
So it would be funny if you feel like you did a codec call. I was like, I don't understand why I'm seeing the bosses. I did this non-lethally. I didn't kill them. They just blew up.
It was my fault they fell over and exploded.
I didn't know they were wired with C4 or C3, I guess, at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you never played this game, I'll give it a big thumbs up. I really like this game. I think it's super fun.
Yeah,
And,
It's one of the best games on the PS2 by far.
Oh yeah, easily.
I think yeah.
Easily, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. I mean, does anyone else have anything else he would like to add? I think we touched upon quite a bit. Without
I think a lot of the rest of what I can say will
comparisons,
probably be things, that I can start talking about in the Delta one. Because I mean, it's not like we can't talk about the story or anything like that in there.
Yeah,
I think like the only thing I was ever really disappointed by in Metal Gear Solid 3's like story, at least when I first played it, was finding out how Big Boss loses his eye. Because I think that it was the trailer that did that to me too, because having the line where Volgin says, I need you to do something to prove to me that you and he are not in collusion. Cut out his eyes. And I guess if you know Metal Gear lore, you know that Big Boss has an eye patch. And in the trailer, like the initial trailer for the game, they show like the boss's knife like right at his eye. And I was like, oh man, that's gonna be brutal. And so when it eventually happens that like Ocelot just kind of shoots out his eye by accident because Snake basically kicks Ocelot to save Eva. So in a way, Big Boss shoots out his own eye. I found that a little bit of a subversion that I wasn't crazy about at the time, but
yeah, I wince whenever that happens. Like, yeah, you get like a sharp object to someone's eye, like it's pretty uncomfortable in a way. Like I think like the first time I was ever exposed to something like that was in one of the Star Trek Next Generation films. I think it had something to do with the Borg, where they just probe your mind through your eye. It's really messed up. But
beware of Dead Space 2.
Oh yeah, Dead Space 2, of course, that as well. Thank you. It is pretty. Does make you cringe whenever it happens.
The idea of having your eye cut out, I mean, it's obviously uncomfortable. But like for storytelling reasons, on one level, I would have rather that it was Big Boss that had to do it. Because like because she does it to maintain her cover.
Yeah, and that's what I thought could have been pretty cool. Like it was, even when getting to the end, I was like, I still kind of wish it was the boss who cut out his eye.
But what I like about what they ended up doing with like saving Eva is because it helps establish that mutual trust between the two characters.
Yeah.
Right, where Eva realizes, oh, he is willing to go great lengths to make sure I'm okay. And I that's something I really liked about Eva's arc overall. Is like she's sort of like the femme fatale role, right? So you like the whole time you're expecting Like she's gonna turn and be like, I was actually working with the bad guys all along, Snake.
Yeah, it's a
and
complete and total reversal of the snake tempting Eve in the Book of Genesis, but it was
right.
Eve, who tempted the snake.
That's a great point. Yeah. So it's
It's a
playing on
line
that. That
line she
definitely
says.
factors in there. And there is the whole I was actually a Chinese agent the whole time, but you do leave the game with the sense that like these two characters really cared about each other. Like Eva wasn't really a bad person, and
Yeah.
she genuinely cared for Snake.
I mean, it's why she
And
doesn't
in the
kill him
end,
in
she
his
told him the
sleep.
truth, right? She sort of told him everything. She is sort of the saving grace of the whole thing, right? Because if it wasn't for her, Snake wouldn't even know what Big Boss did.
Mhm.
At the end
That
of it
and they
all.
are parents to David and Eli, his Solid Snake and Liquid, and
Well, I
Solid.
mean, like she's the surrogate mother, and he's like the DNA father. So I mean, I guess
Basically, yeah.
their fun times at the end of Snake Eater have actually nothing to do with Liquid Snake and Solid Snake, but
Right.
and actually, I think actually does. I'm not sure if Eli or Liquid Snake has the same mother genetics, but I think Solid Snake's mother was, or his egg donor was supposed to be a Japanese woman.
Yeah.
Mm.
And even with that
But
though,
she
they
carried them though. Like she was the one who gave birth to them, or
yeah,
eventually becomes that in Metal Gear Solid 4.
and they did have Eva's blonde hair. Yeah, both a Solid Snake and Liquid, up until like MGS1, where David had to dye his hair so that people can not mistake him for Liquid.
Mm-hmm.
Well, well, well.
And I think,
Yes.
I'm thinking about how people identify with Big Boss. In this game,
I'll be right back.
how they identify with him is like how he has like the human factors thrown into the cutscenes. Like you see Snake, you see a Snake smile for the first time.
Mhm.
Like it's a very natural human like emotion to see like a very serious character convey in that part. But like up until the end, when you see that the boss isn't actually, what when you see that the boss was loyalty to her country all along, and seeing Big Boss just get bamboozled by America in that way,
Right.
you
He's sort of
it's
calloused from that point.
basically, yeah,
Yeah.
a callous. It's like, yeah, Big Boss is like a really tragic character. Like, yeah, identifiable. Not a good role model because he's still going to be the villain
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
or a villain rather.
Gave her the
So
Itachi
like,
backstory.
right, and whether David admits it or not, like, yeah, he and Big Boss are similar. Like they both say like a name means nothing on the battlefield, and
Mm-hmm.
like Solid Snake doesn't want to, like see a world full of war where, you know, Big Boss just wants to give soldiers purpose after a war is done, hence Outer Heaven.
Right.
Like I do like the dynamic between the two.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to play more Metal Gear now in general.
I mean, well, like I said, the good thing about every one of them except for 5 and Peace Walker is you can knock them out pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Consecutive CQC is so satisfying.
Yeah, and Peace Walker. And
Yep.
I guess, can you do that in 4? I know you can do it in 5. And
Yeah,
Peace Walker for sure. But yeah, just basically doing like an assassin kill chain, but it's CQC takedowns.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of a whole satisfying layer of storytelling to the whole franchise is what this game provides, in that you play as this character and you sympathize with this character of Naked Snake, and then he ends up being the villain of the next game. and it sort of
I
recontextualizes the whole thing.
is sympathize or empathize? Because like sympathize is like when you know how a person feels, like you've gone through like something similar as they have. Whereas with empathize, you're like you know how they feel. Like I don't agree with your intentions, but I can understand where you're coming from.
Sure. Well,
I mean, yeah, it's semantically, it doesn't really matter too much. I think it's more just the idea of seeing that this villain, which I think you kind of have to put in quotations, especially once you know how the entire Metal Gear series unfolds, because as much as Big Boss definitely does things in like the MSX games that paints him as the villain, ultimately he and even Ocelot, sort of everything they're doing is in the context of trying to get rid of the Patriots. So Zero, Paramedic, and Sigint form this group at the end of Metal Gear Solid 3 that goes on to essentially try to puppeteer all of human history from there on out, and eventually leading to things like AI development and technology being things that make it so that people are told what to think and nudged in certain directions in order to not be able to think freely. Whereas Big Boss and Ocelot's, I guess, inversion of that is the idea that, like, even if there is more conflict, more war, and more pain, that is what happens if we're free. And that if we're totally controlled, even if we're safe, quote quote, we're also not free, which means we're in prison. Yeah. There's a
Well,
lot of that, those philosophical concepts in the later Metal Gear games that get explored, and even in 2 actually, which I guess is not later, but is later in the timeline.
in the bringing up of the difference between sympathy and empathy, I'm wondering, like, if the implication is that Naked Snake is a character not to be sympathized or empathized with. And I find that he is a sympathetic character within the framework of this story. Like, because like in his virtuous mission, and then when has his first encounter with Big Boss on the bridge, and
boss.
she throws him off the bridge, you feel bad for him, where it's just like, he reaches out to her because he's always been like a mentor and like sort of a mother figure to him. Not completely. I mean, obviously, as the game dictates, the relationship goes beyond simply being a mother figure, but I think there is an aspect to that in an aspect of that in this game. And he
Yeah.
trusts him, and she betrays that trust, and I think everybody can relate to that on some level, where
Yeah,
if you were ever betrayed by somebody in your life at some point.
absolutely. That does make sense in
Yeah.
the context of this game. And then you see later on, like as the timeline progresses with Big Boss, yeah, like you can't empathize with that, but yeah, you can sure as hell sympathize with him here.
And I thought that was another example of like how the foreshadowing of Big Boss's true loyalty was done well, because like when she's flying away in the helicopter, they do this like hand reaching out motion to each other from a distance, and it's like you get the sense like she still cares about him, right? Like, I don't think she's not doing that for show for the others that are around her, like Cobra Unit or Volgan or anything like that. It feels like that's a beat that those two characters are sharing. So it's
Yeah, I
just
mean, if
like
anything,
she
she's probably
obviously still
hoping the rest
cares
of them
about him.
don't notice.
Yeah. And then at that point, you might get the sense as a player, like, oh, she never intended to kill him. She was trying to save his life because Volgan was going to roast him alive. But Big Boss was like, let me take care of him. He's my disciple or whatever.
Well, at this point,
And then just
things
threw
are
him off the bridge.
things are still basically going according to plan. But then Volgan just fucking nukes the fucking facility, and then the rest of the game has to happen. Like, because I don't think at this point she has to be like killed. At least that's what I thought. Like, at this point, there was no need for her to be in the situation she's in after
because there was no need for a scapegoat until the nuke.
Right, and that wasn't till after, right, yeah. But like Volgan did decide, like he's seen my face, he needs to die,
Hmm.
right? So,
Mhm.
but I think Big Boss did what she did, thinking that the others, including Volgan, would think that Naked Snake being thrown off the bridge would kill him. And but I think Big Boss did it knowing that he would probably live the ordeal
Yeah.
or survive
Or at
the
least have
ordeal.
a much better chance than if Vulcan just like electrified him and then tossed them into
Right.
water with maybe
Be-
still carrying a current.
Because if she lets Volgan do what he intends to, he is going to kill him. But if she just chucks him off the bridge, there is at least a chance that he is going to survive, and she wants him to live.
Yep.
I mean, maybe
And-
her whole plan hinges on it,
Yeah.
right? Because her
Yeah.
ultimate loyalty is not to Cobra Unit or Volgan. She's pretending the whole time. The player doesn't know that, but that is the thing throughout the whole game, right?
Yeah, and I mean, had Volgan not fired the nuke too, like she might have just been able to get the Philosopher's Legacy, kill Volgan, and bada bing, bada boom, we're done. Like,
Yeah.
like no harm, no foul. Hey, sorry I threw you off that bridge, but he was going to kill you, and it's the only way I could save your life. But instead, it's like, no, now my pupil has to come back and kill me, and I effectively have to let him.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and like, I mean, she puts up a fight still because she wants to know that he's got what it takes to be like the one carrying on her legacy, not the philosopher's legacy. But it's why the moment at the end is so sad when after the boss fight you get the cinematic and then controls given back to the player and you have to pull the trigger on the boss, and
Mhm.
it's sad because both of them know that it's like this has to happen. She
Yeah.
can't come home alive. Like you need to be able to say, yes, I killed her. And there has to, I guess, effectively be a body that the Russians find and to say that, like, okay, yeah, no, like the boss actually, she was killed by the Americans. So clearly she wasn't working with them.
Mhm.
And yeah, and that's why at the end, I don't actually know who he's supposed to be shaking hands with because like it seems like he shakes hands with the president, although the voice actor is different than the one playing Johnson in the intro. And then a second guy reaches out to shake his hand, and he doesn't because his whole thing is just like, no, like you people made me kill the person that I care about most in this world, like effectively kill my mother because we're
Yeah.
puppets in your little game that's probably not even going to matter in a couple decades. Like in the context of everything, I mean, I mean now maybe is not the best time in history to be using this point, but like the idea of Russia and America are not going to be at the brink of nuclear war forever. So this was just a little
Right.
show we had to put on to get us there effectively. And ultimately it didn't really have any functional good because if we could have just told the truth and the world would have accepted it, I wouldn't have to deal with her blood on my hands right now, and she'd still be alive. She'd still be recognized as a hero. But politics is this arena where we have to play these games and put on these shows, and he's just kind of sick of it. Like he's like, no, I don't want to shake your hand. You made me do something terrible
Yeah.
for what, from like the perspective of a soldier, like a functional live or die situation did not need to happen. Like
The
she
time-
could
the-
still be with
Especially-
us right now.
He only knows the truth because Eva told him, right? Like they had no intention to ever even tell him about this whole show that he had to pull off, and that's why he's so negative at the end of this game towards the people you had on your codec the whole time. You just kind of give him a looks like, yeah, you fuckers made me do this shit.
Yep.
Yep.
But Big Boss, who is you are meant to perceive as like the big bad throughout the whole thing, she is the one person who wanted him to know the
Yeah.
truth
Exactly.
and found a way to do it. It makes it so tragic, yeah.
I think
the-
I think she knows that if he knew the full truth before their fight, he wouldn't have killed her too, which is why she got Eva to tell him after the fact.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I think that the way that final encounter is handled, it's such a clever way of like maintaining the sort of the OP quality of that character while making her beatable in the final encounter because that's what she wants.
Mhm.
Because that's what's going to preserve the story, you know, her that's it's part of her plan, right? Is for you to beat her at the appropriate time, because all like every encounter up until then, she always gets the better of you, almost to an annoying degree.
To everyone.
She just shows up and
She
constantly
one-shots
disarms
every
you and takes your
character
gun
in the
apart.
game who, yeah.
Even Volgan just manhandles Volgan like it's nothing.
Yeah, right.
Beats him like a
And
little
even
clown ball.
Revolver Ocelot, he's like juggling his guns and he's doing like Russian roulette with like 3 guns simultaneously.
Yeah.
But she
Better
grabs a
odds.
gun and fires a round knowing where the round is. Like
Mhm.
she knows when she pulls the trigger, when she grabs that particular revolver, that it's going to shoot a round at that moment because she is that observant. So
And
she has
that's-
these fucking almost ethereal like OP skills.
Well, and I
It's
mean
so cool.
that is another thing that kind of saves the boss shooting out his own eye thing for me, in that he kicks Ocelot when he pulls the trigger that time, and that kind of shows you that's like, no, like Naked Snake, like he is as good. Like she
Yeah.
taught him all that kind of stuff, and he knew that Eva was dead if he didn't do something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It leaves you with the impression that if Big Boss was actually, or the boss, Big Boss, I can't. Is it what?
The
Which
boss.
one is
Big
it?
Boss,
boss.
Big Boss is Snake, and the boss is the woman,
Right.
mentor.
Okay. It leaves you
It's,
with
it's
the
the
impression
title
that,
they give him, and that's like one of the reasons he dislikes the title. It's like to say that you're even better than the boss, and he's like, "Fuck you."
yeah.
Right.
The game leaves you with the feeling that if the boss was actually trying, you wouldn't have been able to beat her.
Mhm.
But that's what she wanted.
Girl boss. Woke.
Even
No,
actually
yeah.
in the scene in front of the Shagahod, like right before the Volgan fight, the boss and Snake get into a little bit of a CQC battle, and he doesn't get the better of her, but he does a lot better. Like he
Yeah, he
actually
does.
is able to kind of like get the knife and turn it around on her for a moment. She still then like pulls another reversal on him, but I sort of like that it's implying that this mission is legitimately making him a lot stronger and a
Yeah.
lot better at what he does.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool stuff like
Um,
this though in this game, everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
love all the
Little
CQC and the
details.
cutscenes. I think that's all well done. I love the motion capture. The motions are pretty simple, but there's enough there where it's like, okay, yeah, I get it. There's CQC experts, and one character's getting the upper hand over someone else, like whether it's Big Boss or it's Snake over other people. Where if you analyze the motions, they're pretty simple. It's just like a, grab the weapon, grab them around the neck or whatever, and then
Well,
like
we
there's
certainly
nothing
can't-
super complicated about it, but you do get the sense like these characters really know what they're doing, and
Yeah.
it's like they're highly skilled. Like what the first cutscene where Snake gets the upper hand over Ocelot and his GRU guys. Are I don't know, are there Spetsnaz guys? I can't remember what his guys
Gru.
are.
Yeah,
I
Gru
think
is
they're Gru
Spetsnaz.
guys, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Russian Navy SEALs basically.
Yeah, like you don't before that you don't really see him in doing any CQC. Like all you see in terms of his ability is what you've as a player have like made him do. You've never seen him do anything in the cutscenes, and then that cutscene happens, and you meet Ocelot, and you're surrounded by Gru guys, and he does this stance, or Snake does this dance, and they're all laughing at him. Like, what is that stance? And
Yeah.
it's just like they're building up to this moment where he's just gonna fucking own everybody,
Yeah,
and he
he's gonna
does.
own
And
him.
it's pretty fucking, it's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
he
It's
just
also very-
manhandles Ocelot, and he takes down all the other guys. It's so fucking cool. I love that cutscene, man.
Yeah.
It's also a good mix. Like the martial art that they kind of like developed for it is a good mix of looking flashy enough that it's impressive, but also seeming like they're doing things like properly using the momentum of people to move them around and like actually functional
Yes.
movements as opposed to just like, like wushu kung fu where he's just like doing spin kicks and stuff.
Mm.
Yeah.
Which was one of
That
the
would've
issues
been
with
so
the Twin
stupid.
Snakes
Yeah.
remake.
Yeah.
But all the hand-to-hand combat feels really grounded here, which I really appreciate. It's like grounded and simple.
Yeah.
I think because
Yeah.
like actually Kojima for this game specifically like dealt with a lot of like real life special forces people to be like, hey, I want to create like a fictional but a new kind of martial art that combines weapon and hand-to-hand combat in some interesting ways. And yeah, they work pretty hard on it, and I think it looks quite good.
Yeah, I mean they do the
Yeah,
whole thing
Yeah.
with the knife and the gun, where actually carves out a bit of the
Notch, yeah.
of the gun so you can hold it better and go into CQC more easy.
Mhm. Like really, we cannot forget about Tornado Yoshida, Ocelot's motion capture actor.
Oh yeah, what a legend,
Yeah.
dude.
The gun spinning is just so fly, dude. He is awesome.
Yeah, you can find. I'm pretty sure you can find on YouTube the exact thing he did for this game. It's really fucking
Yep.
cool. They could have just animated it, but no, it's like we have a guy that can do it and we motion capture it. And it's gonna look baller, and it did. It's
Yeah.
just fucking good.
I didn't know who did the mocap for it, so that's interesting to hear.
Yep.
I never looked that up.
Tornado Yoshida.
Guy makes RoboCop look like an amateur with guns spinning.
Hmm.
You're pretty good. Yeah.
But yeah, I think Kojima, I agree. He's very well informed in terms of like combat and weapons and like military groups and like just this worldly knowledge of international affairs on a broad level, like that it all informs his dialogue writing and his scenario writing. Where he can inject a certain amount of authenticity to every like moment in his games. And I love all that. I love that he knows all that stuff and he brings it into this game in a cool way, even if it's like a little long-winded. Like Snake will go into these autistic ramblings about like weapons and shit, and like this silent
Feeding
pistol.
rams.
It's customized in all these ways, and it's got this thing and that
Fucking
thing.
gun
and,
nerd,
like,
yeah.
The
yeah,
feeding
yeah.
ramp's polished to a mirror sheen.
Yeah,
The
right.
trigger guard's been filed down for a higher grip.
Yeah, I quite like all of that stuff. I
think
can
it's
see
double
that
funny
annoying some
when-
people, but I enjoy that.
It's double funny when you look at my playthrough. He like he cooms over the gun. There's like, yeah. Anyway, I'll get my hush puppet out again. Time to trank more people. Good stuff. But yeah, there you have it. If you can't tell, we like this game. It's good stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good game, yeah. Good gameplay, good story.
But
Yeah,
before-
ultimately in the trifecta of my favorite series.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Nice.
it is the strongest story-wise.
It's my favorite one overall. Like I said before, I think I ultimately like if we're just talking strictly gameplay, I think the open world Metal Gear Solid 5 gameplay is my favorite, but all things considered, this
Yeah.
is like a better package. Like with all different aspects considered. Metal Gear Solid 3 is my favorite.
Yeah, I think the movie structure as opposed to the TV they like almost like TV episode structure that Metal Gear Solid 5 uses, where each thing is like an
Yeah.
episode of a serialized show that turns it into like a 100-hour game with a lot of side quests and busy work. Like Metal Gear Solid 3 is just a much more straightforward experience, even if the moment-to-moment gameplay of Metal Gear Solid 5 is stronger.
Mm-hmm.
In that it, like its mechanics are more flexible and you can do more things. It feels better for the most part, but Metal Gear Solid 3 is the one where you can just play this over a course of a weekend and just have a great time. And
Oh yeah.
when you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely got me in the mood to do a Metal Gear marathon at some point. I really like those games in general. They're really fun. I just want to go through them all the way, but that's probably going to be like 2 months worth of streaming with all the games.
Yeah.
So,
Or in the case of doing a full-length analysis, yeah, like
oh yeah.
yeah, just covering Metal Gear Solid 2, especially with what we're going through right now, it's gonna be a task.
Oh, for sure. It's hard with
Peace
games
Walker and
in
Metal Gear
general.
Solid 5, you'll probably have to do a lot of like offline stuff too, just because there is a lot of like, okay, I'm gonna go and do this side mission again, and then go farm some resources here and do this thing because I need this upgrade in order to effectively do this next story mission. Like there's more of that stuff in Peace Walker and 5 that make it harder to just like fire up a stream and be like, yeah, we're gonna do a one sitting playthrough of Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. Like you can't really do that very easily. But
No.
1, 2, and 3, and to an extent 4, that's not too tough. 4 is, I guess, segmented into chapters that make that a bit easier. So like you can do chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5. Each is its own stream. But
I do think there
JoJo.
was like there was an MGS4 novelization that did touch upon Solino Yarska being like one of the areas that take part of Zanzibar land in Metal Gear 2, though it wasn't really officially confirmed by Kojima himself.
Interesting.
I have a growling JoJo.
That's why I've what's on stream right now. I think that was funny. I just fucking yeeted that guy away from the door. And when I go through it, he was already knocked out, and he's like,
Yep.
I think some of the strength of the story is owed to its nuance and complexity, but I think the bulk of the strength is in its simplicity, in that it is a story about noble sacrifice.
Yeah.
And that aspect of it is pretty simple, I think, and it's really strong. And I even struggle to think of movies that compare, like that did it as well as this game does, where you have a character where you initially think they've betrayed you, but in the end, it's like, wow, they really were on the side of us and our country, you know?
Yeah, loyalty is a very strong theme in this game.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I can't think of one either, but JoJo is loyal to the growl, and Rocky is loyal to JoJo, but JoJo is not having it.
Very good. Well, before we get out of here, let's go through these super chats here real quick. I've got a couple here. There was $5 from Filthy Casual 69. Nice. Saying, I love Metal Gear Solid 2 the most, but 3 has one of the worst lines I've ever heard. Let me explain my plan to you before I'll kill you. Absolute insane. Oh yeah,
Volgan drops the ball on that one for sure.
Volgan does the fucking evil monologue, man. It's like, let me tell you all about the philosopher's legacy and everything. It's like, no, Volgan, don't do it. It's gonna kill you. And then you.
I would have thought that, he plays more into the classic Bond villain trope where, he just tells the protagonist like everything that he knows, and because he's so overconfident and that he'll be victorious, that he's going to explain everything to him and to the extent the audience,
Right.
In Volgan's defense, he's confident in his own ability to kill him. He doesn't just say, now I'm going to put you in an easily escapable situation involving an over-elaborate and exotic death. Like, it doesn't just put him in a trap and walk away after telling him the plan. He's like, no, I'm going to tell you this, and then I'm going to kill you immediately.
No, Dad. I can just go back and shoot him. I have a gun.
You just don't get it.
Just don't get it.
I mean, there's a lot of moments in the game that are silly, but that was the one where it made me just roll my eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That's actually a good reminder.
I will tell you before I kill you for no reason. Here we go. Let me elaborate.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a bit of a fourth wall break. It's just like, look, the audience wants to know.
Yes.
Your overconfidence is your weakness, Volgan.
Yeah. But, I mean, up to that point, the game did enough stuff so well that it's just like, okay, I'll give you this. Like, fine. Let's hear it. Because I want to know, too. Like, but I feel like that could have been dished out in a better way. I don't know how, but like that was dumb.
25 months of membership. Flim Variety from Slumpy. Thank you very much. Saying Kojima is like David Lynch, but for games.
Yeah, I mean that's not inaccurate.
I punched the microphone.
Yeah, like a lot of meta stuff in David Lynch movies that like if you're if you're just going for the in-universe interpretation of what's happening, you could maybe argue a lot of David Lynch's stuff is just terribly written. But if you're on board for no, he's going to be doing a lot of subtext about like the meta of filmmaking and storytelling and things like that, and a lot of what the value of his movies are, the story that's being told kind of behind what's going on in the plot is yeah, it's like it's one of those things that it would be tough if we were doing like an EFAP style analysis on, I don't know, like Mulholland Drive. Jojo, I know, you love Naomi Watts. It's okay. She did fine in that movie. But anyways, it would be tough to say like how does this story make sense, and like the answer would be it kind of doesn't, and a lot of the reasons it doesn't are on purpose because the story he's actually telling is like a commentary on like the idea of Mulholland Drive, I guess, like the idea of the casting couch and what actresses are willing to do in order to be famous. And if you're up for an abstract story like that that isn't really sensical in the strict narrative sense, then you might enjoy Mulholland Drive. But if you're looking for a straightforward story that like makes logical sense as you're watching it, most David Lynch movies will be a tough sell.
Yeah,
I'd say Kojima is a fusion of David Lynch and Stanley Kubrick, because with his series, like Metal Gear Solid is very much like, it's kind of like Kubrick's Doctor Strangelove, and with him in Death Stranding, it's his equivalent to 2001: A Space Odyssey, and even David Lynch's own The Straight Story. And I would have loved to see a memory chip in Death Stranding for The Straight Story, but it's distributed by Disney. But like, if you've seen The Straight Story, it's like an hour and a half long. It's really about the journey. It very much conveys that in Death Stranding as well.
I see.
I think the overlap between Kojima and guys like David Lynch and Stanley is that they're out of the box thinkers in regard to their respective mediums. You know, like if you were to put game design in the hands of David Lynch and Stanley Kubrick, they wouldn't have a fucking clue what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
But Kojima has like a unique knowledge of that world. And I think, but what the common trait that they all have is just like, how can I take this medium and sort of utilize it in a way that people may not expect, you know? And
yeah,
in,
like
in the
a
case of
hyper
Kojima, it's
awareness
video
of the
games.
medium itself too.
Yeah,
Are
yeah.
video games art?
More like fart. Got him.
I mean, yes, and I think that Kojima, I think, demonstrates the thing that I was mentioning this on EFAP as well when we were talking about this. That a lot of people that view the R games art or not question the element they don't take into account is gameplay. And like they view gameplay as a means to deliver the art as opposed to an Jojo, come on, baby. Jojo as opposed to being an element of the art itself. And I disagree. I think that the game design part of video games are one of the things that very specifically make it an art form.
Absolutely.
I agree. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. I think gameplay is being neglected in that regard.
Yeah.
Yeah. The actual button pushing, yeah, it's just seen as a means to an end. Yeah.
Let's see. $5 by M8566. Thank you very much. Asking how long before Sony adapts Metal Gear Solid into a movie franchise? Yay! It's gonna be. Awesome.
I've been working on it for a while.
Yeah, Kojima was working with his friend Jordan Vogt Roberts on a Metal Gear Solid movie adaptation. And
director of Kong Skull Island. Which, I mean, say what you will about Kong Skull Island's writing and everything, I did actually really like the direction and cinematography in that movie. I think that guy does some cool things with camera work.
Yeah. And what's really funny is that with Kojima and his celebrity friends, like he does bring their likenesses into the Death Stranding games. Like, yeah, Jordan Vogt Roberts is the film director. You see Conan O'Brien in the game. You see Jeff Keighley. And you also see Sam Lake from Remedy.
Well, and also like Guillermo del Toro and Nicholas Winding Refn are both like actually pretty major characters in Death Stranding. Or at least, I mean, they don't play them voice and facial capture, but it's their images, like their skins, if you will.
Yeah, the skin suits. Yeah, I love Guillermo del Toro and Nicholas Winding Refn. And you also have Margaret Qualley in there as well as Mama and Leah
Yeah, that was
Seydoux.
the first performance I actually really liked her in as Mama in Death Stranding, and then she made The Substance, and now everyone is like, "Oh man, she's great."
Yes. Sorry, this dashboard just crapped itself. I'm just trying to get back to it.
Yeah, we're not entirely sure when exactly will there be a Metal Gear Solid film adaptation or TV series rather. Do not let Adi Shankar touch it. For the love of God, don't. Like he already ruined Castlevania and Devil May Cry. Just like leave it alone.
I think like push comes to shove, though, I'd like throwing an attack dog a steak so that you can run away. I'd like give him Metal Gear so that he stays far away from Berserk, though. I was like, look, like Metal Gear, if you make a silly, stupid version of Metal Gear that I can entirely ignore, that won't piss me off to the extent that you making a Berserk adaptation would.
Yeah. Like, really, he should just stay away from anime and video games overall.
I have yet to see what he eventually did with Castlevania. I saw the first season of Castlevania, which was only 4 episodes.
Seasons one and two are worth watching.
I liked season 1.
They are.
Yeah. Devil May Cry, I enjoyed on a surface level in terms of like the combat, the fights, the blood, and shit like that. But then at the end, it's just like it just went pants on head stupid. And
I just found it so mean
concerned
spirited.
what Castlevania is going to devolve into by what I've heard.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I guess the first Castlevania series ended, and then they like jumped forward like 100 years for I forget even what the name of the Richter series that they're doing is. I saw the first season of that, and I really did not like it. It was my first indication that maybe this guy having anything to do with Devil May Cry will be a very bad idea. And at least in my opinion, I think he did just a horrendously bad job with it in general. I hated pretty much everything he did to every character, including Dante.
Yeah, and Johnny Young Bosch, I love you, but this ain't it, buddy. You'll always be Nero to me.
I mean, he didn't write the thing though, so like voice actors, I have trouble getting pissed at for anything, which is actually one of the reasons why when people were ragging on Ghost of Yote for its voice actors, I'm like, look, I don't care about them. Like, I mean, the voice actress is not the one that's calling the shots with whether or not the game is going to be good ultimately. Although I will say my issue with her now is in the more recent trailer they showed where they actually like showed some story stuff for Ghost of Yote. I hate the fact that she does not even try to use like a Japanese accent the way Jin has in Ghost of Tsushima, where that little element of like trying to make it sound like you're speaking English, so there's an immersion break to an extent that's innate, but having you not sound like a Japanese person and instead sound like a voice actress from LA, just I don't know, man. Like that, I think I'm definitely going to play that game in Japanese whenever it comes to PC because I don't think I would buy her performance. Maybe not necessarily her facial capture and everything, but the voice, at least in the footage they showed, did not work for me. I was like, oh, that doesn't seem to fit at all. I think actually they do a similar thing with the English Silent Hill F. From what I saw, they showed some of the English Silent Hill VA, and they sound like Americans, and I don't know, man. Like if you're doing a very inherently Japanese setting as a like real world style setting as opposed to sci-fi fantasy world thing where it doesn't really matter how people sound, because I'm like, okay, what would their accents even be? But like a period piece, so like I guess 1700s or 1800s in the sense of Ghost of Yote, and then 1960s Japan and for Silent Hill F, it's like, wait, they don't sound Japanese. Why not?
I know it's silly, right? I mean, is there really a substantial amount of the audience that's looking at that setting and those characters and thinking they don't sound American? I want them to sound like me. Like I don't believe it, man. Like I never had a problem with listening to authentic Japanese voices and reading subtitles. I always prefer that.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess like to be fair, Metal Gear Solid 3, there's an element of that too, because I think most of the characters in this game are supposed to be speaking Russian the entire time, and only select characters actually have a Russian accent. But I guess with Metal Gear, having like Snake sound like Snake was just ingrained to me, so I was less bothered by that. And I think it's only even one line that like maybe it's Sokolov or Granin that says to him, "Your Russian's incredible." Like, where'd you learn to speak it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like you kind of get the idea there, but I guess the silliness of Metal Gear seems to use that in a way that I find more acceptable. But I think both Silent Hill F and whenever Ghost of Yotei comes out on PC, I'm going to play them in Japanese.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much the same with me.
Right.
Like I played Ghost of Tsushima in Japanese. It just feels and sounds right, you know.
Well, when it first launched, Japanese was the worst way to play Ghost of Tsushima because they didn't sync the lips.
Oh no.
So it almost looked like you were watching a really bad English dub of a Japanese movie, but it was a Japanese dub of an English video game where all the characters are Japanese 1600s. And it's like, oh God, man, there's so much here that's not right.
$10 by Delatrow. Thank you very much. Retcon in this game when Snake meets Granin, and he talks about his idea of a walking Metal Gear, and it shows Rex. Makes no sense because it was Otacon who invented the Rex, and he was inspired by anime. I do remember
it's not
something like
Rex exactly. It definitely looks more like Rex than the key art for Metal Gear, like the original Metal Gear games. But I think it's just that at that point they decided that hey, like the Metal Gear. They look more like this style design because the Sahelanthropus in Metal Gear Solid 5 looks like Rex but gigantic. Like it's huge in that game.
Yeah.
Rex is like kind of a small one compared to it. That was made, I guess, 20 years later.
You can't forget Zeke in Peace Walker.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
It's the one you got to build yourself.
Right. Then we got 34 months of membership. Flim Variety, thank you very much. I've never played a Metal Gear game in my life. That is fine. You're allowed to not play them. But maybe you should try them out. They're rather fun.
And you may really find them super silly and hard to get into. Like that is it's also a valid perspective. It's one of the reasons why like I rarely will try to talk people into playing a Metal Gear game that have no interest in it, because like I said, you kind of have to be on board.
Really, I just discovered them because like I wanted to expand my gaming horizons after playing Skyrim. It's like, what is it about these game franchises that make them so special? Like, what is it that people love about them? I gotta see this for myself. And yeah, just being a curious kid, like I'm glad to be able to, you know, not be I guess you could say semi-sheltered in a way. Like not limit myself to Mario, Sonic, and Jack and Daxter.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not saying that no new player will be able to get into these games. I just think that you do have to understand that you're buckling up for a bit of a wild ride.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you might not understand what you're getting into. Like this isn't just Call of Duty, but third person. It's there's weirder things happening in Metal Gear than in honestly many other video game series you could possibly try. So if you don't know that going in and are expecting sort of more of a straightforward Splinter Cell type story and experience, then I can see people getting really thrown off by it.
Yeah, like I've already said this before, but Metal Gear Rising is my stepping stone into the series. And with that and jumping into Metal Gear Solid 3 after, like there are simple stories like, yeah, they just hooked me right away. Like I got obsessed with Metal Gear from that point on.
Nice.
Well, Revengeance being the first one will 100% prep you for the wackiness. Probably in a way that's a bit more palatable, just because it's going full like head first dive into insanity for Revengeance, and I think all of the other ones will seem more grounded in comparison. So maybe that is the way to go.
Yeah.
Because if you're on board for the things that happen to Revengeance, nothing in the rest of the games are going to really throw you off all that much or like culture shock you in any way.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And $2 by Slumpy. Thank you again. Did you talk about Snake Clanker yet?
Snake Clanker.
So yesterday, obviously we got to the ladder again during the stream, and people in chat came up with different things for snake eater, like snowy eater or stink feeder or whatever. And one of them was snake
Snake
clanker.
beater. Snake
Clank-
beater is a very simple
Yeah.
masturbation joke right there.
Snake clanker.
And-
That fucking cracked me up so much. It was so funny.
Yeah, you do get the snake beater achievement from kissing one of the posters in the locker in MGS2.
Ha! Man, I thought I was writing that.
And for some reason, Snake Clanker was in my head for the rest of the stream, and I kept singing it. I'm easily amused sometimes. But yeah, thank you very much for the super chats memberships. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
And that's that. Before we get out of here, of course, thank you to our guests, John, as always. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Jin,
Nice to have you on for the first time,
problem.
Justin. And always
Debut.
great to
Thanks
have
for
you
having
back,
me on.
John.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just looking forward to next week.
Yeah.
I hope to do more of this sometime in the future.
Nice. Tell the people where they find you. A link is obviously in the description, but anything you coming up, anything working on you want to tell the people about, go right ahead.
Oh yeah, I have an ongoing Metal Gear marathon, but yeah, like my channel consists of analyzing, the Metal Gear series proper, and just like anything else that I find interesting to discuss. And you also find like a bunch of shit posts as well. But for the time being, I'm currently writing the script for my Metal Gear Solid 2 analysis, and what we're going through right now, I changed the title of the video, and so that we have to spread the word and give warning to the internet censorship and creating context and all. Like, it's more prominent than ever.
Right.
Like since we have government control and all, just by all means, like when I finish this, I will put it out there and be sure to share it around.
We're in a time where AI being used to, I guess, distribute information in ways that are in service of a goal is a bigger danger now than it's ever actually been. Like much more so than it ever was even conceived of being in 2001 when the game came out.
Yeah, and the fact that they can take control of whatever you purchase. It's bullshit.
Absolutely.
But anyways, yeah, you can find me Jinfinitas, Jinfinitas on YouTube, on Twitter. Like really, I have a link tree through all my socials in there. I have a backlogged as well as a letterbox for games and movies.
Sweet.
And I'm going to start a voice acting channel as well, like for voice acting and sound design. So yeah, you can find me there as well when I start to doing like voice reels and shit posts around that channel as well.
Very well. Well, link down below. Go check it out. And yeah, John, what about you? You do things and stuff, I think.
I haven't done videos for a while, but I'm gonna pick it back up because I want to do RB and the Chief holiday specials for Halloween and Christmas. So I gotta get started on those scripts. I got some ideas I'm kicking around. But for the past couple of months, I've been making a video game. I've been programming and modeling everything from scratch. So I'm just been in a hole just doing that. I don't really have much to show for it other than an environmental demo that I showed off on one of the streams.
Nice.
But anyway, that's what I'm working on right now. I'll put out videos in the coming months, and if you want to subscribe to me, John Graham on YouTube, that's my account. So there you go.
Yeah, subscribe to both of them, everybody. They were goodly enough to do our show.
Yeah, do it or we'll kill
glad
you.
to be on here.
What? Yeah, of course. What about you, Mark? You got any plans?
I mean, I'm still working on the script for my Onimusha video. I've been a little bit thrown off by all the Metal Gearing I've been doing, and Metal wants to do a Silk Song episode, so I'm currently working on the first Hollow Knight game to get that finished up. and then play Silk Song. Probably have to do some more Silent Hill stuff and before that, but
Those are
I'm
games
almost at
right
the end
now.
of Metal Gear, the Onimusha 1 segment. So yeah, and I've played 2 a bunch of times when the remaster came out. So most of my thoughts on that are pretty good. So I think the only one that's probably going to take me the longest amount of time is Dawn of Dreams. So no deadline for that video yet, but it is still being worked on. And yeah, I guess in the meantime, check out my Berserk video that I made, and yeah, didn't perform particularly well, so it needs algorithm assistance if you want to go give that one a view or a second view or a fifth or whatever. But yeah, I'm proud of it though. I think that it ultimately was a good video. Jojo, I know it's sad that no one watched the Berserk video, but
It
it's
was
fine.
a good video.
And
Yes.
yeah, and co-host on Forge here every week.
Room
Metal
for
Gear
review.
Solid Delta episode next week. Yay!
Absolutely.
All right.
Well, as for me, I mean, I've this is the fifth stream this week, fourth. I don't know. It's all Metal Gear 3 right now, as you can tell. So next week is gonna be more Metal Gear Solid Delta, and then we talk about that game, and then after that, Silk Song is out, and then I'm gonna be playing that, and then go back to the editing minds to work on the video I've been working on, because that's on hold again because the video games came out, and Silk Song was like, by the way, we haven't said anything for 18,000 years. It's out in 2 weeks. Go play it. It's like, cool, thanks.
Yeah.
That ruined all my plans of playing the Hollow Knight game before this one. But again, because I played it when it came out, I wanted to do like, let's play Hollow Knight and then Silk Song. But now it's like, I can't because I have to play the other game I'm playing right now. So yeah, streams coming your way and Forges as well. So there you have it. Other than that, when I got the time, still dropping on that video. It is in visual editing territory, so I just need to shovel away time to, just dig in. But yeah, that's that. Streams coming your way. Probably another one tomorrow with Metal Gear Solid Delta, and maybe even finishing it up depending on how fast I go. Or maybe I'll get stomped by the Fury again. We'll see. But yeah. There you go. There you have it. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. Thanks for joining us, and we shall be back next time. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody. Jojo, say
Later.
goodbye.
Everybody.